ton of college basketball. Watched pretty much all of NBA All-Star Weekend. So yeah, it was a good lazy weekend of just watching a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I had to do a women's game on Saturday. After that wrapped up, then it started to rain. And from that point on, it rained, and it rained on Sunday. So I didn't leave the house like you said. Watched a lot of Tube, watched lots of different sports, as I said. Loved watching the Daytona 500. I guess you could wait. You could tape it and just wait to the final lap because that's the way it's become with the restrictor plates, which were implemented years ago. Limits the speed for safety, but I don't know how much safe it is when you have these super speedway races where they're all bunched up and then somebody makes a move and gets out of line and there you go. They had a couple of big collisions. One halfway through the race took out half the field. They were some drivers were able to get back in, but half the field was involved in the wreck. I mean, that's how bunched up they are, and they were bunched up all the way until the end. And we had a surprise winner, but Michael Jordan, the owner of the team that won the Daytona 500. So how about that? We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Let me bring in the third member of our broadcast team, third member of our show, the one and only Jay Ham. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, all right.
Hanging in there. Had a basketball-filled weekend, men's, women's. I watched the Unrivaled one-on-one tournament. It was good stuff.
I started to watch the documentary on the ABA.
I watched that as well. It was fantastic.
I've watched 3 parts. How many parts are there?
4.
There's 4? Okay,
yeah.
So one more to go. I lived that. I remember those days of the ABA. I remember when the 76ers got Dr. J from the ABA. How big that was.
He's still a superhero to me.
Oh, my gosh. And we never bring up his name. Maybe some people do. Maybe you do. But when we talk about the top 10, the top 15, the top 20 even, Dr. J's more into that 20s, but we neglect to remember what he was in the ABA, such a dominating force. And you talk about a must-watch television guy, it was the doctor.
I'm 45, and my generation really doesn't know about Doc because we were all pretty much young. I was 6 when he retired. When he was on his retirement, which I remember his retirement tour, and still on the bedroom, on the back of the door, my bedroom door in my mom's house is the Converse poster, the All Hail Julius.
Yes,
I still got that one.
Didn't they have the farewell tour? And they had somebody had a rocking chair for him. Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, yeah, the good doctor was fabulous. But the whole All-Star weekend, minus the slam dunk competition, and that's getting ridiculous. I got to be honest with you. The guy who won, I don't even know who he was. I never heard of the guy.
That's been like that for me for years with the dunk contest.
I mean, this wasn't Mac McClung from the G League who we heard of. This was a guy actually on a NBA roster on the Miami Heat. Is it Keyshawn Johnson?
Yes.
You probably had heard of him.
I've heard of him. I mean, I don't know anything about him.
Did you ever play in the G League? Did you ever call a game that he was involved in?
I don't remember if he probably did, but I don't know for sure. I don't remember for sure if he did.
I didn't watch 1 second of the slam dunk competition. With all due respect to the 4 guys that competed, I don't think we'll ever get back to what we once had. I don't think there's going to be a renaissance, if you will, of the slam dunk. So I didn't watch the slam dunk, but most of the other events I watched, I absolutely was tuned in to that new format yesterday of the All-Star Games. We can't say All-Star Game because there were 4 of them. And I think they hit it out of the park. I think this will work because it was competitive from the get-go. What do you think, Eli?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the whole weekend was good. I thought the 3-point shootout was fantastic. To watch Damian Lillard win without having played all year to come out there and do what he did. And, Devin Booker, still can't believe Devin Booker didn't win, at the end there, missing his, 4 of his last 5, including his last 3, just needing to make 1 of them. But, the slam dunk competition was fine. It wasn't great by any means. Again, it's a bunch of guys that most people don't know. Or Jace Richardson darn near ended his career, which would have been real. Again, when you watch him do that and fall on his basically almost on his head, but it hit his head on the floor, everything else. You understand exactly why stars probably aren't going to want to do this. That doesn't help them wanting to do it when they watch a guy take a fall like that. Luckily, he was okay and able to get back up and continue. But, I thought the games yesterday were fun. I mean, obviously the first part of it all coming down to a final shot at the buzzer, or either to win or the one they missed, the world team missing in their final game. But those were fantastic, and then the championship game just turned out where the the one team just could not make a shot at all to start that game, and it became a blowout. But there were certain Wembanyama clearly was very, very competitive and wanted to win.
Edwards was competitive.
Anthony Edwards was very competitive. I mean, some of these guys were out there to play. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard went nuclear in the one game and went off for 31 points in a 12-minute game. So yeah, I mean, it ended up. I thought it was fine. There was still a lot of there wasn't a ton of defense being played at times. There was a lot of wide open shots and dunks and all that stuff. But I thought you got the entertainment value, but still the guys were somewhat competitive, and the games ended up being all competitive other than that last one. So I thought it was fine.
Yeah, to your point, it was competitive enough that I enjoyed it. It was competitive enough where I wasn't tweeting out how bad it was that nobody's playing defense. There were some guys, credit to some of the younger guys, who really came in wanting to win. I like the format. Now, here was a negative. The world team, let's be honest, the roster of that world team, if they were all intact and all could play, there's no way they're losing. That world team is incredible. But SGA didn't play. Jokic played just a few minutes in the first game. Doncic basically was, here I am, I'm going to play a few minutes, and then he didn't play in the next game. So it was Wembanyama carrying them, and he did a great job, as you said. He was very competitive. But when you're missing Jokic, Doncic, and SGA, that's ridiculous. So injuries, nothing you could do about it, limited minutes for those guys. And therefore, the world lost 2 games. They were 0-2. I think they would have won it if they were all intact. But it doesn't take away from the competition. I thought LeBron had some moments, hitting some really deep three-pointers. And KD as well. But, man, give it up to the MVP of the All-Star game, Anthony Edwards, who was fantastic. Like you said, that last game, maybe it was pretty much the stars were the younger guys for the most part, and the Stripes, these are the U.S. teams, were the older guys for the most part. And maybe by that last game, the players for the Stripes, LeBron and KD and all those guys, lost their legs a little bit. I mean, they couldn't make a shot. The announcers talked about it. Maybe they didn't have their legs under them because they played so competitively just a few minutes ago before that game was played. And then the young guys just took advantage of that. So I would have liked a more competitive finale. But overall, the concept was great. An overtime game. Then you had the Stripes beating the Stars on that De'Aaron Fox 3, which was at the buzzer. That was great. The other game with the Stripes and the world team had to win, and had to win by, I think, 5 points. But Kawhi, as you said, was on fire. He went for 31. So all in all, I thought that was a great finish to the weekend. The Rising Stars, that was good. Wasn't great, but it was good. The three-point contest, Damian Lillard, recovering from an ACL, wins for the 3rd time in his career, twice now in a Portland uniform, once in a Milwaukee uniform. How about that? I mean, that's a pretty cool story with Dame Lillard going out there and winning the three-point contest.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it was fantastic to watch him do that. I mean, he's an unbelievable shooter, and to see him and Devin Booker as that final, and again, Booker had the opportunity to win it on his last rack. He just went ice cold and missed 4 out of 5 on that rack. But I thought, I was one of the people. I know a lot of people didn't realize how early it started on Saturday because it's All-Star in quotes for this year Saturday night. But with the Olympics, NBC having it moved everything up. So I know a lot of people, and I was a little late. I tuned into the 3-point contest a little bit late. Because I was flipping through. I went to see. I was like, can't remember what time it actually starts. I was like, oh, it's already started, so let me go. And I had missed the first few shooters of that. I do wish, the one thing I wish they would move the 3-point shootout. I wish they would make it the premier event and make it the last thing of All-Star Saturday night.
Oh, really?
And put the dunk contest first, because I think because of the stars and the big names, and Steph Curry says he's going to do it next year, the names you get in the 3-point shootout, I think the 3-point shootout, more people are interested in the 3-point shootout than the dunk contest, just because you actually have guys you know.
Oh, I think you're right. I thought you were about to say make it the premier event, meaning after the All-Star game. No, of course, after the...
Well, no, I mean, it's All-Star Saturday night. I mean, the premier event of All-Star Saturday night.
But when you said that, I thought you meant the premier event of the whole entire weekend, including the All-Star game. But no, you're absolutely right. I don't know how many people care about the slam dunk competition anymore, to be honest with you. But I love the 3-point competition. There are enough stars that participate. You mentioned Steph's going to come back next year. He said that he hopes to bring Klay Thompson along for the ride, bring back some old memories from their days together with the Warriors.
You mentioned, Jay, the unrivaled one-on-one, and I know that made a lot of people say, like, NBA needs to try and do something of that sort for All-Star Weekend. I don't think you could ever get the NBA guys to agree to do that, but how many people were in the one-on-one tournament to begin with? Like, how many games was it? How did they do it?
I think it was a 16-person deal. They had pretty much 4 pods. First round, quarterfinal, semifinal. You just rock through that way, and you win it out that way. They put up $200,000, which for the fellas, at least 500. 500 to a cool million. They'll probably step out. KD will play in that. Ant will play in that. There's some guys that I think will play in it if you put the money up for it.
See, I don't think that, because they don't care. I mean, the dude's making $50 million a year. What's he care about that? They're too embarrassed to lose.
Well,
that's the problem. They don't want. They're afraid they'll lose, and people will make fun of them on social media.
I agree with that.
They're
That's
not.
What I said.
They're
it's
way
a
too.
handful of them I think will go.
They're way too sensitive.
I think Ant, hands down, he'll play. I think Shea would play. I think they can get about 8 to 10 dudes that would realistically play, especially if you put enough money up there, because it's like, when we talk about the dunk contest, prize is $100,000, and we've seen every dunk, especially now we have the point with dunks where you have to have props. You have to have something to jump over or something to assist, and that kind of really takes it to a whole
But to your point,
stratosphere.
it used to be prestigious. When the slam dunk contest started, it used to be something. You won that. It was big time. Dr. J was doing it back in the ABA, but then
a whole different business now.
It's not prestigious anymore. It's the chance of getting hurt.
No matter what they do, the response is, we've already seen that. It's like, well, they can't do. There's only so much that can be done in the world of dunking. Like they can't fly. They're not Superman. So like it is. They're everything you've done, anything you can come up with. Yes, it's probably been done. Like
did you see the video of Mac McClung? He wasn't in the competition this year.
The backwards
Those dunks
thing,
were great.
That one, that thing was unbelievable. Now that would be crazy.
And the thing that bothers me about Mac is like he's doing what you want to see. It's just not who you want to see do it.
But
that's the crazy part.
Right, and that goes back to your one-on-one. I think you're right. You will get a few guys. A guy like Anthony Edwards seems like he would do that, but you'd probably get the lesser names who would absolutely do it. But I think Eli's right. I think most of the bigger names are like, you think Jokic, he's not that kind of player who would win a one-on-one contest. He wouldn't want to do that.
What did they play the games to? Like
Doncic may, I know.
Pretty much from all the way up to the final round, they go to 11 at a 7-second shot clock. Then when you get to the final round, it was the best 2 or 3 in those games went to 7. So it was pretty much
7-second shot clock.
Yeah,
okay.
You got to pretty much hit it. You get the ball.
Was it make it, take it?
Yeah, make it, take it the whole way. And you don't have when you can either clear the basketball at the 3-point line or there's somewhere at the 3-point line you can pass it to and they'll get it right back to you. But you can make a bad pass and it's a turnover.
Don't let Drewski be the guy
Don't
passing
let
the ball.
Drewski be the passer. That's why I brought that up.
I still don't even understand. First of all, who is Drewski? Like, what does he do?
Is
he an influencer?
YouTube influencer comedian.
Okay, because he's all over the place. But like, the dude, like,
the guy from the AT&T commercials.
Yeah.
like I don't understand like how he can't pass a basketball. Like, what are you doing?
Who
Like,
mispronounced the name of Najigba?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
JSN all the way bad with that one.
like it's a simple basketball pass.
Yeah.
Like, you don't throw it like a football. Like, throw a basketball pass.
And of course, 50% of that is him being silly.
I think he actually did
or he
hit
can't ball.
I think he might have hit a fan with the one. I think the one actually did hit a
Right,
fan.
because I think it was either last year or the year before where he was in a celebrity game. He just knew he was about to win MVP, and they went the other way, and he's behind the people making the presentation with the sad look like, what happened?
Speaking of the celebrity game, you had Matt Ishbia, the owner of the Suns, falling backwards, hitting a floater over Taco Fall.
Well, you got to remember, Matt's a national champion.
Michigan State.
Michigan State.
He was a bench warmer, but he was a,
Hey, he
he's
was
a
part of
national
the crew.
champion, right? You can't take that away from him. Then you had Sham Charania on his phone, of course. And, before the game, they showed video of Shams doing a little dribbling, like practicing.
You got a little game
Looked
on.
like he had game, and then I saw his stats in the game. They weren't good. a lot of goose eggs. Let's just say for Shams.
The 1-on-1 deal, like, I think it would be awesome if you could get the guys to do it. I don't believe you could get guys to do it. I think you could get some, but I think generally most of those guys are afraid of losing and being made fun of
I
on
agree.
social media.
And it won't all be stars, but it'll be
Enough of them?
kind of like what we saw over the summer with Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson. Really good one-on-one players. They played it, got up to 100,000. They were able to promote it and get it streamed and had people paying $19.95 for it.
What did Jamal Crawford say during the broadcast about one-on-one? Is that what he was talking
I
about?
believe so.
Okay, because he was talking about one-on-one and
Had he been
changes would make.
active, shoe-in for that.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Though it would be those types of guys that they play ones anyway. When they're at practice or whatever the case, they're just ready to go.
Yeah, if you come to the understanding that winning the one-on-one tournament doesn't mean you're the best player in the world, then some of these guys with the ego might want to play knowing that, okay, as long as people don't go on social media and think that now I've lost my game, or you take me down a notch because I lost one-on-one to whoever.
Even
That's
after
what social media is. Like, that's
That's
all it
just
is.
true.
But the players
It's a
can't.
septic
But
tank.
you can't buy.
I
into
was just
that.
about to go into that because Carmelo received a lot of flack after the Beasley Lance Stevenson deal. They was like, Beasley, Melo couldn't beat Beasley. And when Melo's like, I wouldn't play him. I'm a Hall of Famer. I don't have anything to prove now.
Right,
He
right.
got a point there, but but prime Melo, he would have played him. No question.
But I think Eli's right. I think
you said KD would play. KD's the most sensitive guy in the world on social media.
Yeah,
if he played and lost, like, he wouldn't be able to handle it. He'd spend all night responding to people.
The odds you got on KD losing in ones.
But if he does,
If he
he's
does,
not
you're
gonna
right.
handle it.
But even
So
with,
he's not going to take that chance because he doesn't need the money. Dude's going to make
well,
$1
the thing
billion
about
in
the
his
thing
career.
about with KD now, he doesn't have the burner account anymore. He's wide open on his social media, and he's just gonna fire it back anyway.
we think he doesn't.
Yeah, well, he may still have it, but he's not using it anymore.
to be that tall and to be that good a shooter and just shoot over people. Yeah, I mean, I'd still take a flyer on KD in a one-on-one tournament. There was also, as I mentioned, the Rising Stars and Vince Carter's team winning that one. Of course, Vinsanity, the one-time Memphis Grizzly. On that team, Jalen Wells from the Grizzlies, Cedric Coward from the Grizzlies. Now, Coward did not play. That was announced on Friday that he wasn't able to go, but Wells did play. It was VJ Edgecombe who was the star. Cam Spencer's team lost, I think, to that Vince Carter team. But at least there was the showcase of several Grizzlies that represented the organization in the Rising Stars game. So that was good.
Unfortunate that Coward wasn't able to play, but good for those guys. Good. Anytime getting a chance to be a part of All-Star Weekend, it's cool.
I didn't see the G League game. What was that called again?
It's next up.
Next up. Did you watch that?
I did that.
Okay, I know that David Jones was unable to play, correct? The former Tiger?
Correct.
Wasn't there Damian Ball and a couple of other connections locally that played.
Damian Ball played it. There was, he was not. He played it, and I don't know what he did, but he played it.
Okay, I didn't know if there was anybody else that was connected to Memphis or the Grizzlies organization, but there you go. So that was a wrap-up of what happened over the weekend at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, but I think much improved as far as the All-Star game itself. Adam Silver had some interesting things to say about tanking. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the show, but when we come back, the Memphis Tigers take one on the chin Saturday against Utah State. We will talk about that, what Penny Hardaway had to say after the game, what Jared Calhoun, the Utah State coach, had to say after the game, and also more on the 2 players suspended before the game by Coach Penny Hardaway. Lawn Solutions is a locally owned weed control fertilization company. It serves the greater Memphis area, locally owned, family operated. Brandon Holly and his team of professionals can take care of your lawn. And when you sign up for Lawn Solutions, they take care of your lawn all year long. They control the germination of weeds. They're applying pre-emergence during the winter months, post-emergence during the summer months. They can take care of any disease your lawn has, any insect infestation, crabgrass, dandelions, moles, grub worms, things that can ruin your lawn or just make your lawn aesthetically unpleasing to people. You want to make sure that you're not the lawn or the home that people point to and go, what are they doing over there? Make sure your lawn is the envy of the neighborhood, and that will happen when you go with Lawn Solutions. Call them at 901-867-5626, 901-867-5626, or go online to lawnsolutionsinc.net. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Let Bryant Dacus and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon. Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The wait is finally over. Get ready for the grand opening of the newly remodeled Landers Cadillac of Memphis. You can shop grand opening savings at Landers Cadillac of Memphis, and you'll find there's a special deal on all the remaining new 2024 Escalades. You can get $20,000 in total savings. And they're paying top dollar for trades at Landers Cadillac. See how much you can save with the Landers Easy Pass at CadillacofMemphis.com. And remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
Injured in an accident?
NST is the way to go. Call 68370.
For more than 35 years, NST Injury Law has been fighting for Memphis families. When insurance companies try to delay, deny, or underpay, NST steps in to fight back. No fees unless you win.
NST is the way to go. Call 68370. They've got the fight, they've got the heart.
NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger-buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at NapaCafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis has serious vans for serious work. At 4430 American Way, they are the Mid-South source for cargo, passenger, crew vans, and custom chassis. Need one or a full fleet? New or used, they've got it with fleet solutions and custom upfits. Certified techs keep you moving with fast maintenance, repairs, and a large parts inventory. Mercedes-Benz Van Center is your Sprinter Van headquarters, 901-237-9302 or sprintervans.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis, part of the Tag Truck Center family, driven to keep you on the road.
Sports 56 Traffic.
Good morning. It looks like it's gotten a little bit heavier in the last few minutes coming down. 385 Bill Morris Parkway, pretty much typical right now coming in from Collierville. Midtown traffic, it's trying to build on 240 North here up by Lamar. I-40 East on the increase, especially coming across the Hernando de Soto Bridge over from West Memphis. Check out the animals that are available for adoption this week at the Humane Society of Memphis, Shelby County. The cats and dogs on there. You can see them on their website at memphishumane.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:28 is the time. Hour number 1 on this President's Day Monday. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham, wrapping up everything that happened over the weekend, which included the Memphis Tigers in their final non-conference game of the season, getting blown out by Utah State on the road in Logan. This is after losing at North Texas in conference play on Thursday of last week. They lose to Utah State by the score of 99-75. Utah State now 22-3. The Memphis Tigers dropped to 12-13. The fact that the Tigers lost that game is not a shock. Utah State is a very good team. They're an NCAA tournament team. They had only lost one time previously at home. The way it happened, what happened in the end, that is something that became a topic of conversation throughout the weekend. The Tigers had a lead actually late in the first half. At about the 5-minute mark, had a 3-point lead. And then from that point on, Utah State goes on the run. They take the lead going into halftime. They never looked back. The Aggies shot 53% from the field, hit 10 of 28 threes for 36%. The Tigers were held to 37% from the field, just 4 of 18 from 3 for 22%. Utah State scored 21 points off of the 12 Memphis Tigers turnovers. So we'll discuss that, the loss. But then the end of the game happened, and Utah State kept scoring. The Aggies were up 13 with 1:35 to play and proceeded to score 13 more points and win by 24. After the game, Coach Penny Hardaway took exception to Utah State. He questioned them as far as sportsmanship, didn't understand why they didn't let up. Jarrett Calhoun, the head coach of Utah State, afterwards talking about the system we use, which includes Bart Torvik and Ken Pomeroy, who was with us on Friday, talking about that the margin of victory is a factor in the committee's decision on where to seed teams. So we got a problem. Not only does Memphis allow Utah State to do that, which again, you think about it, it's Utah State just embarrassing you. You can't stop them. But then you complain about them doing it. That did not sit well with a lot of people, especially when you throw in, like I said, that margin of victory is extremely important to the committee.
Well, the margin of victory is figured into, like, Ken Palm's ranking.
Into that system. It's part of the analytics. Yes.
It's not the committee's not looking at it.
Well, okay, but it's part of what Torvik and
because it's every
and
possession,
Pomeroy.
as he talked about, every possession, it's an efficiency. There's an efficiency there. So if you have possessions in which you don't score, and again, it would be nice if those systems had some way where those types of things at end of games did not matter whether you scored or not, whatever. But, I mean, do I think the windmill jam at the end is probably a little over the top? Yes. Some of that, and certainly they could have, but Memphis also got the ball where they could have dribbled the clock out at the end of the game, and they didn't do that either. But I'm generally not one that if cares whether teams do this or don't do that. I don't think it is nearly as offensive as a lot of coaches and players seem to make it. It happens in the NBA. It happens at every level of basketball, of this type of stuff where people get offended by it. Is the windmill jam over the top? Yes, that is over the top. And that kid at that moment is not thinking, I need to score here because this helps our KenPom ranking. He's doing that because he wants to do a windmill dunk. That's what he's doing it for. And it is a bit of rubbing it in the face. It's just having fun in front of your home crowd. The place is going crazy. I got an opportunity to do a windmill jam. I'm doing a windmill jam. He doesn't care one bit about KenPom or Bart Torvik in that situation. So yeah, is that over the top? Yes. Do I care that much about it? No, I don't think it's that big a deal and whatever. I think everybody should just move on from it.
No, but the bigger picture is this. It's not Penny complaining about sportsmanship or their coach talking about the analytics that are used. The fact of the matter is, I understand Utah State's a good team, but this is Utah State doing this to Memphis. That's the big picture that I think some people are missing here, that we're in a situation now where teams are going out and throwing up windmills at the end, basically laughing in the face of Memphis. This isn't.
Well, did you not expect this from this game?
No,
this was expected from this game.
But that's the whole big picture I'm talking about. This was just a microcosm of what's going on. No, I expected Utah State to win. But you're talking about a Memphis team that didn't go down fighting, that allowed them to do that. If you don't want them to do it, then you got to shut them up. You got to stop them. This isn't vintage Kentucky national championship caliber Wildcats rubbing it into the face of Tick Price's Memphis Tigers. This it shouldn't be happening. And we're talking about, again, Penny's argument, sportsmanship. He's right to that extent. Calhoun is right with what he's saying, but we're missing the big picture that Memphis is in that position where any team, let alone Utah State, can rub it in. And now you're talking about getting back into conference play. And by the way, every team seemingly in the conference is helping Memphis out, because teams that have a chance to differentiate themselves from Memphis and other teams at the top keep losing. Memphis is right. They're still right there. And they have a huge game Thursday at South Florida. But unless they figure this damn thing out, it ain't going to work out. They lack a killer instinct. We saw Utah State with a killer instinct, and that's unlike Memphis Tigers teams in the past. The Memphis Tigers have the killer instinct. They don't have it. They're missing that. Individually, they got 21 and 10 from Sincere Parker, off the bench, first career double-double. I like what I saw from Curtis Givens III. He's got to protect the basketball better, but he went for 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. But there's just not enough of that. And defensively, which they hang their hat on, where was that at? Especially down the stretch against this Utah State team. So there are problems that go beyond just a team rubbing it in at the end. The fact that you're the team on the receiving end of it is shocking to me. Then you had the 2 players that were suspended before the game. Penny Hardaway suspending Zach Davis and Hassan Abdul Hakim. This was him talking to Dave Woloshin, our Dave Woloshin, before the game. I'm not sure if he addressed it after the game or not, but the suspension was announced indefinitely for violation of team rules. Both players were with the team when they went to North Texas. And Zach Davis, as I said, I thought he would, played in that game. Hassan did not. Both were there. Both were sent home. Did not make the trip to Logan. They were sent home to Memphis. I don't know what that is all about. I don't know the situation that we have here. I know that Hassan Abdul Hakim has not played in, 5 or 6 games? And there was the illness that they talked about, the mysterious illness. Zach Davis has been with the team, didn't play a couple of games after the bad play he made defensively against the Tulane player whose name escapes me, the game winner. He didn't play the next two, and then I figured he was going to be back and playing, and he did, and he actually played well against North Texas. And then all of a sudden you have the announcement of the two players being suspended. So we have that internally that's going on. We have a team that has to be embarrassed by what happened at Utah State in the final minutes of that game. We have a coach who's upset with the lack of sportsmanship, and I understand Penny to a certain extent, but I also understand what Calhoun's saying, Jared Calhoun, the head coach of Utah State. And now you got to figure out a way to get it right for this stretch, because it's still a possibility. And we're not talking about a long shot possibility. I'll pull up the standings here when I get my computer to work, and they're right there. But can they figure it out? And they have this game against South Florida, which may end up being the toughest game they have left on the schedule. They'll play South Florida at home as well, but you got to play them in Tampa on Thursday, riding a 2-game losing streak.
Well, again, I mean, you might be able to say the season's shocking. There's nothing about what happened Saturday night that's shocking. Like, Utah State's just way better than them. This is a bad basketball team. Like, that's just bottom line. Again, I'll say it for the millionth time. When you can't shoot as a basketball team, that is a bad quality to have.
Eli, what's shocking is that this is the Memphis Tigers. What is looked?
But it's this year's Memphis Tigers. We're 25 games into it.
I know.
They're not good.
I know, but to have teams basically do like Harlem Globetrotter stuff on you at the end is completely beyond comprehension. Yeah, losing some games, certainly. But my gosh, being embarrassed by Utah freaking State.
I mean, you were, 15-point underdogs or whatever, 14-point underdogs. Like, this was what was supposed to happen in this game. Utah State's just way better than Memphis is.
Losing is one thing, being embarrassed is another.
And Memphis on the road is even worse than anything. They're horrendous on the road at a tough place to play. Like, you know, I guess guys doing the windmill dunk at the end, whatever, but like, it is like there was nothing about what happened in that game Saturday night that was surprising really at all. Like, did not expect them to be competitive against Utah State. That's what's, it's sad, but that's just where this program is. That's where this team is. This team is bad. Again, they shoot, 35% for the game. 36%. They're 4 of 18 from 3. Like, they can't shoot. Like, when you can't shoot, you're certainly not beating good teams, and you're definitely not beating good teams on the road. You're not going to be competitive with good teams.
Right, but you have to then figure out a way to put the effort in defensively. You have to play. They don't play physically. Just got a text. There's no clutch genes. They don't have a go-to guy. They don't have that dude that will stand up and say, what the hell are we doing here? Get physical with the other team because of the embarrassment. There's none of that. They don't have any of those guys on this team. They don't have that physicality that we've seen with teams in the past from Penny Hardaway. We've seen guys that would not stand for this, whether it be being the leader in the locker room or on the floor. They're physical. They're way too physical. That's all they do is foul. Well, there's one thing about being physical, being aggressive. There are teams, when that team started to do what they did at the end, I'm not calling for like knocking some dude out or something, but there would have been some push and shoving going on. There would have been something that was happening. This is a text I got a moment ago in regards to Penny. I think it's a little disingenuous for him to be talking about someone running it up on him when I watched him in person do it at East High School on countless occasions. He also did it in the AAU world with Team Penny. So you ask no quarter, you get none. So you ask no quarter, you get none. I don't know what that means. Sure, it's a bad system that the NCAA has put up about how you're being judged, but Penny definitely put it on people in the past, so don't whine when it's on you this time. Yeah, we're talking different levels, but I understand the point. The big men continue to foul. You're right. There's one thing about there's playing physically. There's also playing stupidly. And the way they foul, they're either out of position or don't know how to hold their own ground without committing a foul. That has reared its ugly head once again with Bradshaw, with Scylla. But here again is, I'm trying to search for a silver lining here. The Tigers are right now a game behind, actually a half a game behind second place in the American Conference. South Florida's 10-3. You play them twice. They're the leaders. They're 10-3. Tulsa's 8-5. Wichita State's 8-5. You're tied, meaning Memphis, with Temple and Charlotte at 7-5. Memphis has beaten Charlotte, who, by the way, lost yesterday to UTSA, giving them their first win in conference play. And Temple, I think Memphis beat, right? If I'm not mistaken. But in front of them are teams they've lost to. But you have an opportunity. You still have 6 games in conference play, and you're playing South Florida twice. So it's still right there for the taking. You want to be at least top 4. But if you're top 2, as you know, you're automatically in the semis. If you're top 4, you go into your third or fourth, you go into the quarters automatically. Saving you extra games, wear and tear, a chance to have an early exit. I mean, it assures you at least, again, if you're a top 2, it assures you're into the final 4. I mean, you can't beat that, but you got to take advantage of it. And they have been basically staying afloat with the help of other teams and the results that have happened over the last week or so in the conference. Tulane beat UAB by 1 at U. Again, UAB cannot win at home, but wins on the road. You had Tulsa losing at Wichita State, 81-77. South Florida edged Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic, with those injuries, have dropped to 6-7. That's a team that thumped Memphis there, and then Memphis got the revenge on them in Memphis when they were down their 2 leading scorers. Charlotte, as I mentioned, somehow lost at home to UTSA, 88-79. North Texas beat Temple, 65-62. Bit of a surprise on the road, but North Texas just beat Memphis. And East Carolina beat Rice by 10, 85-75. So there you go. You got South Florida 10-3, 2 up on Tulsa, Wichita State at 8-5, Memphis, Temple, Charlotte at 7-5, 2.5 back.
USF easily could have lost yesterday in that game. Florida Atlantic had plenty of opportunities to win that game, but South Florida was able to pull it out in the end. Again, I mean, it's a bunch of bad teams in the conference, so the teams are going to lose to each other, and yeah, you can keep on losing, and you're still going to have a chance. But thinking that suddenly this Memphis team is going to put it together and make some great run, I don't see how that's going to happen. Like, again, we're 25 games into this. This isn't 3 games in, and like we're trying to figure them out. Like, we know what this team is. They're not good,
right? But in this conference, it's still doable. With everything we've talked about, still doable. But I don't know if it's not like they're going to find the secret ingredient to being a physical team or to all of a sudden become a great 3-point shooting team or just a good shooting team overall. They're not going to find the remedy to that. I just hope that...
Exactly.
I just hope that they can figure it out because of the talent or lack thereof in this conference, that they have enough, as long as there's not an implosion from what this suspension is all about, that we don't have really details on it. Hopefully it's just a separate thing with these 2 guys and it doesn't bleed over to the rest of the team. But they have enough talent with the guys that are still available, from Parker to McDaniel to Bradshaw to Givens, that they should still be able to make this run to become a top 2 finisher in the conference.
If you want to chime in, you can on the Sicily's Log Cabin listener line at 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. You can either text in or call in. We'll get to some of those texts and calls coming up in just a little bit. Again, that's 901-360-8255. East Coast Wings, when it comes to watching all of the action, of course, a lot of stuff was going on over the weekend. The Olympics are continuing. Of course, college basketball getting to that fun time of year as we get closer and closer to March Madness. NBA action will be getting back underway this week after the All-Star break as we get to the playoff chase there. You can watch it all over at East Coast Wings and a Grill while enjoying some great food on Mondays. Wings, 85 cents. That's either bone-in or boneless wings, 85 cents. They just brought back some of their great pairings as well. Basically, it's a great setup for two people. You can get 2 entrees, 2 sides for like $20, and they've got a bunch of different options that you could choose from when it comes to that. It's great food, just a great place to hang out and eat, or a great place to hang out and watch the games at East Coast Wings and Grill. Located in Bartlett, just off Highway 64 on Kate Hyde Boulevard, runs right between the Lowe's and Walmart there off Highway 64 in the Wolf Chase area. Great food, great drinks, great place to watch the action. East Coast Wings and Grill.
This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at CodesDispensary.com. That's CodesDispensary.com.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders, your roofing and restoration resource. With single-digit temperatures and ice moving in, frozen pipes and ice dams don't give you much time to react. A busted pipe can flood walls, ceilings, and floors in minutes, and the real damage is often hidden behind drywall, insulation, and cabinets. That trapped moisture can lead to mold fast. Right now, Metro Builders Memphis is delivering immediate emergency water mitigation and response day or night. We can stop the water, document the damage, and help prevent long-term issues before they spread. If you see water stains, sagging ceilings, or active leaks, don't wait. Call us before mold spores spread. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. Metro Builders, your roofing and restoration resource. Metro Builders, we don't just build, we build world class. Book us online at metrobuildersmemphis.com. metrobuildersmemphis.com.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs. 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Mondays. Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays. Daily specials and online ordering. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check Facebook for daily specials and weekend music at the Owner's Box.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:51 the time. Talking some Tigers here. 360-8255 if you want to call in or text in on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines. Dennis has done so. Dennis, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Blue Monday.
It is.
But look, I just... couple quick points, man. I know everybody's on the Kill Penny bandwagon right now, and like I said before to you guys, I don't think everything he does is right, man. I don't think, some of the judgment calls, like how in the world do people still be getting open on wide open threes? It's crazy. Stop pressing stop pressing, man. I mean, they're getting warm-up shots. I would safe to say that I think the average D1 player, 95% of them can make an open shot. And then once they see the ball go in, I mean, now, you're going to have a problem. That being said, it's still the same guy that beat Kevin Sampson, number one team in the country. We had some bad luck. Maybe it's an excuse, but FAU game, robbed. Gonzaga game, Duran and Williams got in trouble. Hunter breaks his foot last year. If those things change, I don't think we're here right now. If we get to the second weekend, I don't think we're here right now. So I'm a Tiger fan regardless, if he goes today or not. I mean, I've been a Tiger fan since I was 10, so whoever they get, I'm a Tiger for life. But, some of this stuff goes on him, but we having an off year, man. This is a Javon Quinley type team. These guys don't gel. He just had to kick 2 people off the team. So,
they're suspended. They're not kicked off the team yet.
Okay, well.
Yeah, they're suspended indefinitely. But we'll see what happens now. But I get your point, Dennis. Thank you, man. Take care.
Y'all, man.
Okay. Let me go to Kenny. Hi, Kenny. How are you?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I think both of y'all are right. Eli said, we know this team, 25 games, 12-13. But I'm with you, Greg. I guess the problem for me is just Utah State beat Memphis like this. This is not Michigan. This is not UConn or North Carolina or Kentucky. Utah State.
Yeah.
Throwing with Memphis. And I guess, when you follow this program since 73 as a 5-6-year-old, after 25 games, there are not many Tiger teams that have been below 500 after 25 games.
Right.
And it's tough to watch. I'm like the previous caller. I'm not. And I've told you all, I don't think they should make a change after this year from a standpoint of the man at the top. But they've got to make some changes within this program because this can't go on another year. You can't have another year.
Yeah.
Like this.
But when you say make changes within the program, what? If it's not the
you
coach?
got to upgrade, get you someone that can help construct a roster like a Stansbury. The year last year, to be honest with you, that roster, a lot of that was constructed by Stansbury before he left.
Like a GM. They have GMs now. And a guy running the personnel show, the player personnel. All right, Kenny.
Eli, I hear you. Eli, but the reality of it is the position that this person holds in Memphis, they're not going to make a change.
No, I'm not. I don't.
He's not calling for it either.
I would be surprised if they did. But at some point, you have to admit, you got to do something. You can't just keep saying, "Well, we got to keep changing the staff." The staff changes every single year, and the results haven't been there.
Yeah. Thanks, Kenny.
Well, yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
I mean, there's the one constant has been Penny. And the fact that they're not getting wins in the NCAA tournament, and now they've regressed to a point where they are a laughingstock against Utah State. So you can't keep just saying, well, just got to tinker with that staff a little bit. I mean, at some point you got to say, you know what? Maybe we got to just try something completely different and change the coach. And that may not work. It may be in a situation, I don't know. But if you just keep changing the staff has literally changed every single year. And it's the same stuff.
I've gotten so many texts about changing the staff, and that's why I said, you know how many different assistant coaches have been with Coach Hardaway over the years? The staff has changed an awful lot. Now, I agree with our last caller about having somebody that helps Penny with the personnel. A general manager that really is a younger person. I think I thought Nolan Smith did a great job in being able to identify players and then go after those players. And of course, he got the head gig at Tennessee State. But I think a young guy who is willing to look at every avenue. Memphis, we kind of narrow ourselves, right? What about international players? I mean, there's players. It's not just the same. Let's get the athletic guy. There's a lot of different styles of players that you can get from everywhere.
And you can talk about and blame the GM or whatever who constructed the roster. And I don't know whose fault this roster is. I do know that Penny called it the second most talented team he's had since he's been here. So Penny completely misevaluated this roster. So I don't know who put it together. I'm guessing he had a big part of that. he had no idea what this roster actually was.
I think he took chances with guys that he thought would break out of what they were. In other words, Bradshaw and some of these other guys who did not live up to expectations, that maybe now this new lease on life with him as the head coach, that they would be able to break out. We've seen pieces and glimpses of some of these guys being able to do it, but not on a consistent basis. Let me squeeze in one more call before the break, and then we'll continue in hour number 2. Greg is next. Hi, Greg.
Hey, guys. Long time no talk to.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Look, I'm just going, first of all, I like to say, Penny's, I think he's too proud to work with someone. I'm just going to cut it. I'm not going to put a lot of words to that. A lot of people may not like what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've been watching Tigers for a long time. I'm a long-time fan, like I said, 73, like the other guy. Right now, I'm at the point to where, as much as I love Penny as a player, and much as I would love to have him have success in Memphis, I think the years have gone by and the woulda, shoulda, couldas just have gotten past.
All right.
I think it's time for, I hope they can find the right guy. I'm still going to stick with you, Penny, but what can I say?
I hear it in your voice, my friend. Thank you, Greg. Don't be a stranger. Appreciate the phone call. We'll get to your texts. Dwayne, Keith, we got an open line. We'll get to you guys to open up hour number 2. Town Village Audubon Park is one of our great sponsors. Senior living in today's world, located at 950 Cherry Road, just off Park Avenue in the heart of East Memphis. You can call them at 901-537-0002. Set up a tour or go online to townvillageaudubonpark.com. Find out more about them there. Offering more options to fit your needs more than ever before. They're dedicated to the long-term satisfaction and the quality of life for their residents. All they ask is that you're 55 years of age or older, so you're thinking about those golden years or the golden years of a loved one. Think Town Village Audubon Park. The services include monthly rental with no buy-in, all-inclusive resort-style dining with multiple venues, bi-weekly housekeeping, just to name a few. And the community amenities, they have a social area that features a fitness center, home theater, indoor pool, and whirlpool. 24-hour pantry, Village Nook convenience store, a beauty salon, library, computer center. It's all right there. 5 landscape courtyards, resident gardening areas, dog park, gated parking, and so much more. Again, I'm just scratching the surface. Call them, set up a tour, or stop by and tell them you want to tour the facilities. Town Village Audubon Park, 950 Cherry Road, which is just off Park Avenue, 901-537-0002, or online at townvillageaudubonpark.com. More on Tigers Hoops when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join NFL and Ole Miss football legend Archie Manning for an evening of inspiring stories on leadership, perseverance, and greatness. Don't miss Archie Manning at the Heindel Center in Senatobia, Mississippi on Friday, February 20th. Tickets are on sale now at heindelcenter.org.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Since 1948, in the Alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, there's some things about the Rendezvous I want to talk about. For example, we make it really easy to park. We have valet parking right at Monroe Street in our alley. We also want to make it easy for people to get to-go orders. You can now park in our alley right at our front door and put your flashers on. People also forget that we take reservations for 6 or more. And we have a wonderful party room upstairs that can accommodate people for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, reunions, graduations. Our rooms seat between 25 and 200 275 people. And everything at the Rendezvous can be packed to go. Brett, we also do catering. See our menu online, and we can even deliver for groups of 15 or more. So if you have any questions, always feel free to call us at the Rendezvous because we answer our phone ourselves. You'll never hear, please listen carefully for our menu has changed. Press 1 for reservations, press 2 for hours, press 3 for catering, or if you know your party's 9-digit extension number and the first 3 letters of their mother's maiden name, dial it now. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
Since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at LawnSolutionsInc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
This traffic report brought to you by City Center Liquor just off Highway 70 in Lakeland. Local, friendly, and always fully stocked. For a 5% discount, tell them Sports 56 sent you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. That traffic volume really on the increase right now. In a couple of spots, westbound I-40 is one of them here from Germantown Parkway all the way down to Sycamore View Road. It's a steady flow of traffic coming up from the south as that gets a little bit heavier up through South Haven on 55, especially going northbound all the way up to Brooks and Elvis Presley. Check out the animals that are available for adoption. Where? At the Humane Society of Memphis Shelby County. Go to their website. It's memphishumane.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:05, the time, hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Monday, February 16th, 2026 edition. Happy President's Day. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. We are gathered once again in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure is located at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. They got their President's Day sale going on, along with that floor model spa sale, which continues. Greg Aston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham with you. It is foggy outside. If you're driving this morning, be careful. 41 degrees, but extremely foggy. Going to warm up to about 63 today with generally sunny skies this afternoon. 46 for your low tonight. Then tomorrow, 68 for the high with a mixture of clouds and sun. Hour 2 of the program brought to you by the great folks at James Gaddis Jewelers. Yeah, Valentine's Day was Saturday. Hopefully, a lot of you went over to James Gaddis Jewelers and took advantage of everything that they had to offer to get your loved one, whether it was your husband or your wife, a beautiful piece of jewelry from James Gaddis Jewelers. Of course, grandparents and nieces and nephews and cousins. Everybody deserves beautiful jewelry, and that's what they have for you at James Gaddis Jewelers. And remember, a piece of fine jewelry is the gift that lasts forever. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at GaddisJewelers.com. Open Monday through Friday 10 to 5, Saturday 10 to 4. They're closed on Sunday. Every Monday and Friday they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. This is courtesy of our buddy Parth Upadhyay. Did you know that the Tigers have only finished outside the top 100 of KenPom 3 times since 1996, the last 30 years? The 1989, make that the 1998-99 season under Tick Price. The 2016-17 season under Tubby Smith, the 2017-2018 season under Tubby Smith. Currently, after the loss Saturday at Utah State, they are ranked number 101. If you missed KenPom, he was on with us, Ken Pomeroy, on Friday on the show, explaining how his system works. And I think people maybe need to check out that on our podcast. You can go to our website and check that out because he explains what goes into it, including the margin of victory in games with the possessions that he talked about. It's very complicated. But the reason why Jarrett Calhoun said what he did after the game against Utah State and why they kept trying to score at the end, where Penny Hardaway had a very or had an exception to what they were able to do, and that's put up 13 points over the last minute and 35 seconds. My counter would be, well, you get out there and you stop them. You have a little pride out there. You prevent them from doing that. I mean, you got to have that killer instinct. I'm not sitting here as a proponent of hurting somebody, but man, when they are embarrassing you, you have to stand up and do something about it. And again, I understand where Penny's coming from, the sportsmanship factor and all that, but those days are gone, man. Those in college sports with the analytics, those days are gone. All right, let's get back to your calls and texts.
I got a text here from Mac. He says, here's what nobody wants to admit. Penny never knew anything about being the CEO of a major program. He should have spent a year under Tubby in what would have been his third and last year. It's not a coincidence that Penny's tenure has been filled with chaos and confusion. Another texter says maybe Coach Penny was trying to convince himself about this year's team when he said it was the second best team that he's ever had. No, I think he thought it was good. And he was just really wrong about it.
Well, he was taking some chances with guys that had underperformed in their careers to this point, and then he also grabbed guys that came from bad programs, hoping that even though they were the better players in those programs, that putting them all together would work out very cohesively here in Memphis.
Another one says Utah State running up the score, not that big a deal. The net rankings are based off margin of victory. Again, all of these rankings are efficiency based. So if you just take empty possessions, that hurts your efficiency. All of these are based off efficiency. And so, yes, scoring. Again, and I know somebody out there's somebody that there's a Twitter thing for it about games being analytically over. And I don't know what the criteria is of when they determine it, but based on a margin and time left, at that point, they say nothing after that point should matter in the analytics because the game is over theoretically. But
in their minds, it is.
None of these ranking systems use that. They all use every single possession. Yes, it should. In that case, if Utah State dribbles out the clock, that should not count against them in any of these rankings efficiency, but it does. Because they all use every possession. They're not looking at every game and determining teams doing that. It's every possession of every game, and they all have an efficiency component to it.
Well, how many times do we see that little ESPN win index? 99.9% chance that they're going to win, and then they lose. They get upset on some shocker, right? I don't buy it. Play to the final whistle. Play to their zeros on the board. That red light pops on. Just play. I've always had a problem about dribbling out and then turning it over, right? You dribble, you don't take the last shot, even though there's still time after your shot clock would have. No, take the shot. And then, okay, guy gets a rebound 2 seconds to go. Okay, he dribbles it out. That's fine. But not when there's 35 seconds. You got 30. At 5 seconds, you're going to turn it over, and you just dribble that and put a turnover on your team stat. There's an empty possession. That's what we're talking about.
David says it's still doable, but they probably won't do it. But if they could just string a couple of wins together, but they're inconsistent, no one gives up blank anymore.
Yeah, the inconsistency, and he did that on purpose in his text, is the way the season has gone. You think there's a couple of games you go, they got it. They don't have it. They found it. They don't. I did it. I said it. I thought they turned the corner a couple of games ago when they won 2 in a row before they went to North Texas. I thought they would easily win at North Texas. Didn't happen. All right, let's go to Keith. Keith, good morning. How are you?
Well, I'm not good. Anyway, I just want to comment. I hope y'all are doing. I hope your Valentine's was better than mine. All right.
So the offense is just totally discombobulated. I mean, we got turnovers galore. It reminds me of one-on-one offense. We've had some coaches, Larry Finch being one, that ran that one-on-one type, just crazy offense. And I'm not sure a zone on defense might not work better than our man-to-man, because our man-to-man ain't working real good right now. And Penny don't even know his starting lineup right now. Best starting lineup. And he's too easy on his players. When they go out there and do something stupid, he needs to be pulling them over there and getting in their face and yelling and doing stuff. And,
well, he's not. That's not his personality, Keith. But now he's at least suspending players for something that they've done wrong off the court. Maybe it's a reflection on what happens on the court. He just doesn't call them out and embarrass them during the game. After the game, though, it looks like he's starting to penalize them more. Some of it is NIL reasoning, but I hear what you're saying. He's just a Tiger's never going to change his stripe, if you know what I mean. He's not going to all of a sudden become this demonstrative, loud coach on the sideline. He's not John Calipari in that manner.
I saw South Florida play Florida Atlantic, and Florida Atlantic probably played their best game that they played this year, and South Florida still pulled out a win.
Did they have all their players? Do you know, Florida Atlantic?
No, they still don't have the.
Yeah, they're still missing their one guy. I mean, that's what's killed them is those injuries. But we saw.
They did have one up. They did
Vanderpool played, but
Carlisle did not. But again, they had the full force against Memphis. We saw what they did to the Tigers that first go around. So that's a good team. But look, South Florida, you got them twice. I don't know if you could figure it out, like our last texter said. Somehow, some way, you got to figure it out for Thursday night. Thank you, Keith. Hope you're feeling better, buddy. Appreciate the phone call. Let me go to Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne, how are you?
Hey, what's up, Greg? What's up, Eli?
How you doing?
Let me start out by saying
Carlisle did play that game. I'm sorry, Carlisle did play that game.
Let me start out by saying I don't know why University of Memphis don't care about Tiger basketball anymore. Now, say this. We got to stop settling. We settled when Cal left. We really didn't do a search. We just gave the job to Jock. We brought Tubby in to help get this program on track. Penny would not help. Refused to help unless he's the top dog. That means he wasn't going to send his players there. And this guy loves the university, so he said. That handcuffed us, and we gave Penny the job. We settled on Hardaway when there were better candidates out there. I'm quite sure there were. Now, we refuse to lose him because he's a hometown kid. There's no more bonding these guys to Memphis. You can't say, well, I got to have extension on my contract if kids want to come here, because this rotates every year now. Mm-hmm. That don't even matter no more. Whatever's left on Penny's contract, pay him out. Go and find the best possible candidate. Go get the best guy for the job. Because right now, we're worse. This is the worst team I've seen in a long time. I'm not talking about wins a lot. I'm talking about teams. I'm talking about guys who can't play together. There is no system for them to go by. There is no discipline at all on the court. I don't care if you get back in the locker room and you berate a guy. That does nothing for me when this team is getting killed on the court, and this guy needs to know his place. That don't help the university at all, especially when you pay him. Mm-hmm. Penny has had so many missteps in his 8 years, and I know you guys know everything. There are times when he should have just cut loose from guys. Just cut him loose. If a guy don't want to come to practice, goodbye. You're not getting any more money. Go somewhere else. And Penny has stepped down the sideline and watched these kids make mistakes. Man, the last game, I saw so many bad shots. I'm talking about guys just running through the back, just throwing it up. I'm like, what? No balance shots.
Right.
I mean, just shots that you would never see a good coach sit there and say, hey, man, good job. No. You can't sit there stoic like you Tom Landry and expect these guys to get it. Penny has got to be held accountable for this year and his first year all the way up.
All right.
The whole thing has been a debacle. I don't care about NCAA appearances that he done had. It's all about day one to now, it has been bad. And nobody's going to say it, but the guy should be let go of. If he want to come to a conclusion at the end of the season where I step aside, no, you ain't got to make it look so bad, I don't care. This program is going down here, and it's picking up steam. Let's go find the best coach possible.
Thank you, Dwayne. Appreciate the phone call.
I mean, at his point, like their shot selection, again, they can't shoot even when they get good shots, but their shot selection it's actually comical at times. Like 15 seconds on the shot clock, a shot that a guy will take, and you're like, did he think there was 1 second on the shot clock? Like, what are you doing? Why would you take that shot at that moment? But they just do it. It's constant. They just take horrendous shots.
And there's panic down the stretch. They haven't learned really how to finish games if they're close. Of course, that one wasn't close down the stretch. That was a whole different ball game. But down the stretch of the first half, they got the lead. And then all of a sudden, Utah State goes on that run, and they can't figure out how to slow it down.
Another texter says, Memphis blew their NIL budget on the football team trying to get to the college football playoffs. So you're seeing it on the basketball court. Again, you can use the money excuse if you're talking about some of the non-conference games against the power conference opponents. I'm sure they're all spending more money on their roster than Memphis is at this point, just because they have more money to spend.
Mm-hmm.
But
not within this conference.
That doesn't float in the conference. And I'm going to guess Utah State's not spending more money on basketball than Memphis is. I don't know, but I'm going to guess they're not. It's not like Utah State has some great, they went out and got a bunch of big name transfer guys. Like that's if you want to talk about the Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, these SEC teams, yeah, they've got more money. And so you could talk about those, but not within this conference. I mean, what are they?
I agree 100%.
What's the conference record now? 7-5?
7-5.
They're 7-5 in the conference. I mean, and I guarantee you they're spending more than everybody in the conference. And again, I will guess with no knowledge, they're spending at least as much, if not more, than Utah State is on their basketball roster.
I agree. With
and they're not even, and again, and Utah State, they're not even a competitive team with Utah State. This wasn't some fluke thing that Utah State blew them out. Utah State was a 14-point favorite in the game. This was exactly what was supposed to happen in this game.
I wonder how many wins is going to, or how many losses a team is going to have that wins the regular season title in the American. South Florida has 5 games to go. They're 10-3 with the 2 games against Memphis, including this Thursday. They're going to lose another game or so. The winner of that conference is going to have at least 4 losses. I had predicted 4 for Memphis at the start of the year. They've already lost 5.
There's going to be a bunch of teams probably between there might be 6 and 8 losses. There'll be 6 or 7 teams bunched up in that grouping.
Hey, remember where the coach from South Florida came from? First year. Hodgson, Brian, Arkansas State. First year doing a great job at South Florida. All right, back to your calls. Kelly is next. Hi, Kelly. Kelly, you there?
Good morning, Greg, Eli.
Good morning. Good morning.
Man, I'm trying to stay positive. I mean, everybody want to bash Penny. He got to work with the hand he dealt with. I mean, a lot of these guys he probably had to get second and third choice for because the guys he was counting on. And this team just ain't good. I'm trying to stay positive, but man, it's like the IQ. And like I said, Penny's not the one out there not rebounding the ball, turning the ball over, missing open shots. I mean, there's only so much he can do. But like I said, this team, man, I'm trying to stay positive this conference, but I'm still hurting from the North Texas loss.
Yes.
I know we lost to Utah State, but that North Texas loss and the loss against Tulane, them the ones that sting.
Absolutely. They're more important.
Yeah. So like I said, I hope we can right the ship and make a run, but man, this team is not likely. You know, I'm a Tiger fan, been one since I'm 46 years old. I've been one since I was 6th grade.
Right.
So like I say, it's tough.
All right. Hang in there, Kelly. Hang in there. Thank you now. Appreciate the call. Here's the thing. And again, no excuses, but you know what Penny was trying to do. He was trying to keep Haggerty, and they were hoping some way, somehow, they would get a waiver with Danger. Danger was never getting the waiver. Even though they're handing out waivers like they're candy, and even though they're going to courts, and the courts seem to be siding with the schools, it wasn't going to work out for Danger. I talked to a lot of people in the know. But their hope was Haggerty, and unfortunately, I think once Haggerty maybe stunned them because they thought they were going to get him back, that panic settled in. That's the only thing I could think
Danger
of.
was never going to get it from the NCAA. If he had been willing to go to court, like Trinidad Champ was, maybe he could have gotten it. But he was not going to get it from the NCAA.
No, he wasn't getting it from the NCAA. But again, according to people I talked to in the know, they explained to me the situation why he wouldn't have won in court either. Again, you never know, because it seems like you get a favorable judge who either has a law degree from one school or an undergraduate degree from one school. There's the favoritism. Dan is next. Hi, Dan. How are you?
Hey, guys. I just wanted to run a few things. Ted Williams was an awful baseball coach.
He was.
I mean,
I know where you're going with this.
Well, no, that's about as far as I'm going to go with that. But
I know what you're saying.
I watched a really good interview with Stan Jones. I don't know if you know who that is.
Sure, absolutely. Menfield.
Guess what he had on? His T-shirt he had on while he was doing the interview.
What?
A Tigers uniform shirt.
Yeah. I know Stan's name has popped up so many times in the past for that's the guy they should have gone out and maybe brought onto the staff as an assistant and all that. But I think maybe that ship has sailed.
Greg, I tell you, I would call Penny in my office. I'm the athletic director. Tell him, you got to get Fred Smith or you're out of here. Bottom line, you got to get that guy.
I hear you, Dan. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the call. Yeah, we still haven't heard from Fred Smith. It's still all indication is he will sign with Memphis and follow Solo Jackson. I think it's more or less not just that, but winning this conference tournament title. I mean, it is going to be a bad situation if they don't make the big dance, and the only way to get in is to win the conference tournament title. Jay is next. Hi, Jay.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
It seems we've settled for, in this program, maybe mediocrity, rather than, I mean, I can't remember when we've been relevant as far as a big-time program. I mean, we should be top 10, I feel like, every year with the talent we have. And I don't see a guy on the sideline with the clipboard coaching X's and O's that could make a good guy better and make a great guy an All-American.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had that, I guess it's the it factor. We all know Penny is Tiger through and through.
Yeah, there's no arguing that.
At some point, who will finally make the decision for us to say that this experiment has failed, and can we move on?
Right. I mean, that's the question, Jay, and thank you for the phone call. Of course, that falls on the shoulders of Dr. Ed Scott, but I just don't see that happening.
No, the idea that they should be a top 10 team,
well,
not in today's world. They
right.
Like,
because of NIL, because of where we are with rev sharing, it makes it impossible for Memphis to be a top 10 team. To be relevant, though, which is the other statement he made, there's no reason why Memphis still can't be relevant. Look, we see what Gonzaga is. Granted, they don't have football, and I think that's maybe the point some people are making when all the money goes to football, not to basketball. There's still enough money that Memphis has compared to other group of 5, soon to be group of 6 schools to be able to disperse among those two major sports, and they do that. And I think they do that well, and there's probably going to be more coming in as we move down the road as far as rev sharing money. But it doesn't, it's a drop in the bucket compared to what the power schools have and what Memphis was able to do in the past as a very relevant basketball program. It's almost impossible now because you can't retain those players even with the connections to the city or Penny Hardaway. Some you might be able to, but for the most part, you could get those players anytime you wanted to. Now it's show me the money. This is absolutely a Jerry Maguire situation where usually the most money is going to do the talking.
Yeah, again, I mean, if you just look at the top 25, it's pretty much power conference schools. There's the sprinkling of some non-power conference schools in there, but it's for them to be a top 10 program consistently like that. That's impossible. But that's not that's not even the issue. They should be the dominant team in this conference, and that should not even be a question. And they're not. They can't. They're 7-5 in this conference. That's the issue. You can be relevant by dominating the conference and going to the NCAA tournament, actually winning some games in the NCAA tournament. Yeah, last year they were number 5 seed. That's relevance. You're a number 5 seed in the tournament. Now they lost. in the first round, that hurts your relevance, but you're a relevant team. If they would be dominating this conference the way they should, then you are a relevant basketball program. But they're not even they're just now they become a middle of the pack team in the American Athletic Conference, which is just inexcusable for this program to be in that spot.
Yeah. Is it a one-off? Is it just a horrible year? You chalk it up to being a bad year, bad decisions, and you move on? Or have people had enough being as long as it's been with under coach only one tournament win? That's the real question. Do you look at it as a one-off, a bad year? Last year was a good year. They just lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The year prior, they were kicking tail until they had an implosion behind closed doors, and the chemistry was out the window. I mean, it's all under one leader. Let's not get that wrong, but how do people look at it? I think it's a tough call for some people because of their allegiance to Penny and to the university. For others, even that are just mild Tigers fans, they have no problem saying, look, it's time to move on. In other circumstances, with a different name, probably would have made a change by now, you would think. But again, it's not because of the lack of love for the game, love for the city, love for the program that Penny has. There is no denying that this guy has taken it harder than anybody. But this year has been an abomination. It has just been miscalculated. I don't understand when you're, again, getting punked at the end by Utah State. It doesn't make sense to me. All right, we got to take a timeout. Melvin and Toby and Carl, we'll get to you. More of your texts when we return. Want to mention Corky's. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, one of our great sponsors for lunch, for dinner. If you got an event coming up, you want it catered, Corky's can do it for you, starting out as low as $7.99 per person. Dine in at any of their 4 locations: Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, Goodman Road in Olive Branch. They got lunch specials every day. Party packs that start at just $7.49. They will deliver. And I think it's $3.99. Double check that for me, but I think it's $3.99 set price. So it's a lot cheaper than it is going with the services for the most part. Have Corky's delivered to your home or office. I believe it's $3.99 set price on deliveries. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. Our more of your calls when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The 2025 Range Rover Sport sits right at the heart of the Land Rover lineup, offering a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility. Smaller and more agile than a full-size Range Rover, it's a great option for everyone who wants luxury and practicality. Every model comes with 8-speed automatic transmission and all-wheel drive standard. Whether you navigate city streets or tackle rough terrain, Range Rover Sport has you covered. Every drive is powerful and breathtaking. The 2025 Range Rover Sport is the epitome of sporting luxury. Test drive one at Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders, your roofing and restoration resource. With single-digit temperatures and ice moving in, frozen pipes and ice dams don't give you much time to react. A busted pipe can flood walls, ceilings, and floors in minutes, and the real damage is often hidden behind drywall, insulation, and cabinets. That trapped moisture can lead to mold fast. Right now, Metro Builders Memphis is delivering immediate emergency water mitigation and response day or night. We can stop the water, document the damage, and help prevent long-term issues before they spread. If you see water stains, sagging ceilings, or active leaks, don't wait. Call us before mold spores spread. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. Metro Builders, your roofing and restoration resource. Metro Builders, we don't just build, we build world class. Book us online at metrobuildersmemphis.com. metrobuildersmemphis.com.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Sponsored by Armstrong Pharmaceuticals.
This traffic report brought to you by City Center Liquor just off Highway 70 in Lakeland. Local, friendly, and always fully stocked. For a 5% discount, tell them Sports 56 sent you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Cranking up even more now. Trying to push up through the Midtown area. I-40 over here around Chelsea. It's a steady flow of traffic. 240 northbound here at Lamar. Again, all this Midtown traffic pretty much typical this time of the morning as it continues to get a little bit heavier. Westbound I-40 over here from Germantown Parkway down to Sycamore View Road. Check out the animals right now that are available for adoption at the Humane Society of Memphis Shelby County. It's easy to go to their website. It's memphishumane.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:32 the time. Wild President's Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Let's go one more round of your calls and texts on the Tigers. We got a lot more to get to. Matt Reiser joins us at 9:05 as we begin our weekly Tigers baseball segment. We had a big firing that happened last night in college basketball and a big retirement from the NBA that I want to get to as well. Toby is dialed in at 360-8255. Good morning, Toby.
Good morning.
What's up?
Well, I just wanted to defend Penny in the program because you have one bad year, and it's not the end of the world. Had Haggerty came to Memphis this year, we probably still wouldn't be winning a national championship, but we would have been a very competitive team going into the big tournament at the end of the year.
I agree.
However, had Penny won a national championship, we'll say, for example, last year when the Tigers were pretty good, he would have stayed. And so the same loyalty that Penny would show to the university, I think the fans ought to be showing to him, because every team is not going to go great every year, but I do believe that given enough time that Penny can put all the pieces together and have that, what they call it, one magical season where it all comes together. And it's usually years in the formation. You can see the Tiger team with Derrick Rose was really good before Derrick got there. They were really pushing right there, going that way.
Right.
And then they didn't win it, but they were right there.
Oh, they were national power.
But that was a different. It's not realistic to believe that anymore because you're not getting guys to stay at a program for 3 and 4 years, like a lot of those guys did.
Well, Rose was one, but
no, but the other guy, he said they were getting better. You could see them getting better. Well, that's because those guys were staying. Nowadays, you're not doing that.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because when they were talking about Memphis should be a top 10 team, I was sitting here thinking I could think of 30 schools that can outspend Memphis right now, and we're not going to be able to outspend them schools. So the only way that we're going to win, literally, is for Penny to handpick these guys that gel together, similar to what Kurt Signetti did in football. It's like an unbelievable, wow, can't believe that just happened season, but it still happened. They're still national champions. It came out of nowhere, really. Because
had the money. They had the money. They had the ability to go ahead and take that step up in football. They had the resources. The money was dumped in. It's a different world we now live in, Toby, as you know. It's a different sports atmosphere. Here's my question to you, though. You mentioned you got to give it time. It's 8 years. How many years do you give him?
I personally would give him as many as he wants. I think Memphis is lucky to have him. I think people get spoiled on success. And you get spoiled on success, and then you realize success is hard because every team is wanting to win. And when there's 50 schools out there out paying for players,
right,
and they can outbid us for those players.
But are any of them in the American Athletic Conference?
Well, other than this year, Memphis has dominated the conference.
Okay, they certainly did last year.
Okay, but now we're into this year, and they're a middle of the pack team in that conference.
I'll acknowledge that this year, because Haggerty didn't come.
Well, Haggerty just got his coach fired also, so just assuming they'd be great with Haggerty. I don't know. His coach just got fired. They're terrible, too.
Well, I'm going to say that his coach got fired because he pretty much sold him on bring this kid in and we're going to be great. Well, you know what? Haggerty sees it didn't go the way he wanted it to. The guy that brought him over there didn't go the way he wanted it to. I think everybody would have been better served had he stayed in Memphis. I know Memphis would have been better served for sure.
I think so. Toby, thank you, my friend. I appreciate the phone call, Toby. Toby's obviously a big supporter of Penny Hardaway, as are many people. And I guess a year where they may not make the tournament at all compared to a year where they dominate the conference is fine with him.
You have to hope that this is just a one-off disaster year and that next year they can put together a better roster, and we'll see if they keep any of these guys. I assume they at least will hope to keep some of them on like a whole new 15 that they went with this year. They're obviously going to actually bring in some high school kids and maybe have the idea of trying to build a little continuity year to year. So yeah, maybe this is just a one-off year, and that next year they can get it back and get back to the top of the conference. But I mean, this year is a disaster.
Yeah, look, it's a tough situation, but yes, they are 1 year removed from rolling through the conference, winning the conference tournament title, winning all those big non-conference games, which was for the second year in a row a really good record against non-conference opponents. Penny doesn't back off of anybody. He plays the best teams that he can get on the schedule. I give him a lot of credit for that. Look, here's the weird thing.
But again, that great year of all that stuff that happened last year got you no NCAA tournament wins.
I understand. But you have to, we've been saying now in this NIL era, they have to dominate the conference. They dominated the conference last year. They're not doing it this year. But here's the crazy thing. There's 3 weeks to go. They're still right there. I mean, it's impossible to say, oh, yeah, they'll have it all figured out from here on out, right? I mean, come on. I can't say that with a straight face. But still, it's a conference in which your talent should be better, and I still think it is. It doesn't mean you're winning all your games. That's been proven already. And I know we're going to react to every game. That's what we do on Sports Talk Radio. But I think it's a bigger conversation if they don't get it done. I still think, look, they have as good a chance as South Florida, Florida Atlantic, UAB, Tulane, name your team in the American Conference. But if they're having problems behind closed doors that we don't know about, we got 2 players now suspended, that could be the implosion. I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm just saying that you don't know. And I think at least Penny has stepped up and started holding guys accountable, suspending players. Players have lost NIL money. No, he's not going to be this demonstrative guy. He's not Dan Hurley. He's not John Calipari. He's not that way. I would be that way, but that's me. I'm high-strung. Penny's easy-going. People criticize him for his style. Look, the whole thing with assistant coaches, he's taken over more of the control of that. People have complained about that over the years, that he didn't use the assistant coaches enough. Now he's using less of the assistant. People want changes in the staff. The only consistent and constant has been Coach Hardaway. And you could look at it as a one-off. It's a bad year. But then again, like I said, it's not over yet. It's not. I don't know. I wouldn't bet on it.
Doing anything meaningful is over.
But if they win the conference tournament championship, which is not
like
crazy,
a 13 seed and get blown out. Who cares?
But isn't that the whole goal right now? And where the days of Memphis being an unbelievably relevant top 30 program are gone. People got to realize that. So now you have to win your conference. You have to get into the NCAA tournament. And if they do that, yes, there'll be a bad seed, but it will be the same position they were last year. If they don't, then we got a problem. Because just like football's expected to get there. They weren't able to get there under Coach Silverfield, not even make it to the conference championship game. Memphis basketball, it's even more of an expectation that they are going to win that conference every single year. So the Utah State game was bad. That's a pretty good Utah State team. I expected them to lose. I didn't expect the embarrassment that was the end of that game. That's what bothers me more than anything.
Got a text here says, be realistic. We hired a high school coach. That's what we ended up with. Raider Corey says, I hate to sound like a broken record. Replace Penny's name with Joe Q. Public and tell me any administration would be content with the 8-year results in totality.
No, they would not. And we've said that before, but Corey's right. But that goes back to our last caller. That last caller it seemed like he was leaning toward giving him a lifetime contract. And yes, he's probably right. If Penny won a national championship with his team, he'd be back the next year coaching the team. His allegiance should not be questioned. His love for the program, that should not be questioned. But people, the results are, how many wins you got, how many losses you got, how far did you go in the tournament, how many times you make the tournament. That's what people care about. You can't argue his allegiance and his love for the program.
Another texter says it's ludicrous to say he can't coach. He won the conference championship last season. Not a coincidence. Go Tigers.
Yeah, nobody is saying he can't coach. There's just questioning on how he's coaching, who he's using to lean on, things of that nature.
Another one says, people are delusional. Penny's the CEO of this basketball program. Anything that happens, ultimately, he's responsible for.
That is true.
There is no culture. Everybody's making excuse after excuse. I think we should be a top 40 to 50 team every year. We should be the best team in the AAC. Go out there and get someone who knows how to run a program, keep a coaching staff, and evaluate talent.
Top team in the conference, top 50 in the country. That's not too much to ask for. That's not too much to ask for. Let me go to David. This will be our last caller on this subject. Hi, David.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
Here's my 2 pennies. I think at the beginning of the year, Penny tries to schedule the Power 4 schools, which I understand, but I think he needs to get 4 or 5 wins under his belt, playing lesser opponents. And also he needs to settle in on a starting 5 from the beginning. And because I watched 2 games yesterday. I watched Indiana versus Illinois. And another game I watched, and one of the best games I've seen, was South Florida versus Florida Atlantic. And they played 7-8 guys, and that's it. And
Right. That has been a recurring issue this year, at least what we've brought up on the show.
Well, I think Penny just tries to appease everyone on the roster, and you just can't do that. You can't have 15 guys playing.
I agree.
So you got to play 7, 8, 9 at the max, and if you don't have, if you can't get anybody else, I'm kind of with Calipari when he said you only need 9 or 10 guys.
Your
he
point.
said that last year, I think.
Illinois in that game yesterday literally only played 7 guys. Like there was not. That was it. And now they were without Stojakovic, who did not play. He would normally play, but literally that was it that got in the game. 7 guys,
and they're all huge. Guys are.
They're international. A lot of those guys.
Yeah.
I said this earlier. Memphis needs to broaden its horizons. They need to look at players from all over the world, man. We've had so much of this Memphis. Well, it's great if you get a couple of great guys from Memphis, but look everywhere around the world for players. David, thank you so much. Appreciate the phone call.
Okay.
All right, so
he got. They just brought in a couple because everybody wanted him to go get 7-footers, so he went and got them.
Right.
They can't play, but hey, they're 7 feet.
Yeah. And yes, that's true. That's true. He got a couple of guys that are basically learning the game. He did, and they are international players, one of them at least, so if not 2. But yeah, he did. But I'm looking at those European players like Illinois has, and a lot of Gonzaga gets those players as well. I'm just saying as part of it, not get all international players, but I'm looking at, and I should have been more specific, European players, because they start so young in structured basketball, and I'm not talking about AAU, EYBL. I'm talking about structured under 14, under 12, under 16, turning pro early, too. These guys are seasoned veteran men. to find those kind of guys?
Dennis says, if Penny had a budget of, let's say, $18 million like Louisville, do you think he would be successful? My answer is undoubtedly yes. Just like to know you guys' thoughts of that. I would hope he would dominate the conference. Again, you have way more money. Would he be successful, like going to Sweet 16s and Final Fours? I have no idea. He isn't, before we got into the NIL and all that stuff, he, on theoretically the level playing field with everybody else, budget-wise, he wasn't winning NCAA tournament games and going anywhere. So I can't, if he just gets on an even playing field with all those big programs, where I think he's going to advance and win a bunch of tournament games, I have no idea. I would hope that you would at least, and I would think they would at least absolutely dominate the conference.
Well, to your point, I think people forget that he began well before NIL was a thing, rev sharing was a thing, and look at the players he brought in, the Jalen Durans of the world. Look what they're doing, playing in NBA All-Star games. He brought in a lot of talent, but meshing that talent didn't always work out. As Eli said, one tournament win.
Texter says, thank you to Toby, the caller. You're the only guy that made some actual sense.
And I would imagine that's another diehard Coach Hardaway fan.
Well, would have to be.
I mean,
if you think he's the
lifetime contract.
If we're talking about winning the conference, there's a large number of coaches that could do that with Memphis's resources. Team and coach turnover is starting to make sense. The ones inside the program see the issues. Playing his son in clutch time as Exhibit A. Paul says, where's Tim Duncan in all of this Penny mess?
Observing.
I have no idea. I mean, again,
he's there.
In the end, it's going to be Ed Scott's decision. But, yeah, I don't know what the conversations are that Tim Duncan's having or with Penny and with Dr. Scott on the other side of where the issues are and what exactly his role in that is.
Again, look, it's a tough situation. I mean, Tim's a teammate of Coach Hardaway. They're great friends. He's now his boss. Dr. Ed Scott, again, who I think is the right guy for the job for Memphis. I said it from the get-go, but you're talking about a treasured Memphian, an all-time great.
I would assume that all of them realize that this is unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Scott has said it many, many times, what he expects, what the expectations are. So unless you're going to lower your standard or change your mind, you cannot accept this. Got a text from our friend Grant. He said, Memphis is second in the country in bench minutes and tied for last in continuity from last season's minutes. So again, the point being is that he does use not only different starting lineups, he uses a lot of players, and there's a little inconsistency with that. Because sometimes a player goes, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he misses 3 straight games. I'm not talking about because of injuries. Then all of a sudden, a guy wasn't starting. That has been an issue. And that was brought up by one of our callers about that inconsistency. Okay, we'll come back. Jerome Tang fired by Kansas State. Few words on that. And then in hour 3, we have Matt Reiser joining us in studio. And then we'll get to everything else that happened over the weekend in the world of sports. It's a crazy weekend. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
Hey, it's Brady Cluse, wide receiver at the University of Memphis. On the field, every yard counts. Off the field, every dollar does too. That's why Southern Security Credit Union is your go-to for mortgages. They make home buying simple, fast, and affordable with rates that help you win big. Ready to make your next move? Visit southernsecurity.org or call 901-452-7900 and get started today. Southern Security Credit Union, your home team credit union, is a proud supporter of University of Memphis athletics and an equal housing lender.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Witten Road.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
Oh no, I dropped my lip balm in the water. I can't think of anything worse than the looming threat of potentially having chapped lips. It was ginger vanilla too, my favorite flavor.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
All right, so yesterday, Kansas State fired head coach Jerome Tang for what they say is cause. The last place Wildcats, only one win in the Big 12. You may recall just recently Tang lashing out at his players following a blowout home loss to Cincinnati. That was on Wednesday. The basis for the for-cause firing, according to ESPN and their sources, is language in Tang's contract that references any activity that brings public disrepute, embarrassment, or ridicule to Kansas State. I think that's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, I mean, they'll end up settling this, but it's ridiculous to try and use that as cause, what he said. They're firing him because the team's terrible. He hasn't done anything since they gave him the big contract after the Elite Eight run. And it's time to move on. And they're trying to come up with a way to avoid paying a big payout because they gave him way too big of a contract after that Elite Eight run. But using this is ridiculous. And I'm sure they'll come to some settle and be all done, but that's ridiculous.
The contract they gave him after the Elite Eight run was in 2023. It was through the 29-30 season. So there's still $18.67 million remaining on that deal. Tang plans to fight the for-cause firing, according to ESPN, and why wouldn't he? His quote, "I am deeply disappointed with the university's decision and strongly disagree with the characterization of my termination. I have always acted with integrity and faithfully fulfilled my responsibilities as head coach." If we start to muzzle these coaches, it's already bad enough where many of them are muzzled. Another reason why I love working indirectly or directly at times with Coach Penny Hardaway is he shoots from the hip. He's not afraid to say anything. He's not afraid of the ramifications, the repercussions. Tang calling out his team, so what? It's publicly calling out his team. You're right, Eli. It's just a way to try to get out of they're not going to win this thing. It will be settled, I'm sure, and he's going to get a lot of that money, or he'll fight and get all of it. I just do not see this being as for cause. Now, P.J. Haggerty, a member of Kansas State, and people point the finger. Look, if you stayed at Memphis, P.J. Haggerty has played 25 games, So he's played every one of their games. He's only one of 3 players that have done that on Kansas State's roster. He's averaging 23.3 points, one of the top scorers in the country again. He's averaging nearly 35 minutes, the most by far on this Kansas State team. He's still averaging over 5 rebounds. He's averaging 4 assists. He's averaging 1.2 steals. He's shooting 36% from 3, 70% from the line, 48.5% from the field. Don't blame P.J. Haggerty, sorry, on what's happening with Kansas State. Maybe they didn't do a good enough job putting players around him. But sorry, I'm looking at stats. I'm looking at what he does every game. Every game, you look at a blowout game, he's got 23, 24 points. You look at a win, he's got 23, 24 points. He's been very consistent. Now, some of the callers reference P.J. Haggerty. Do I think Memphis would be in the same position that they are right now with him? Nope. He was that good last year. P.J. Haggerty would be a difference maker. But you can't go into the offseason with all your eggs in one basket thinking that that was going to happen. Danger was never going to happen. But Haggerty, they felt that he would stay. And he left for less money, according to everything we've heard. It got contentious. I don't know what happened in the inner dealings of that, but they lost their guy. And then after that, then you have to start to, find players. And maybe a little panic settles in. And maybe you don't get the players that you had hoped for. But again, as you mentioned, Penny talked about this roster. Maybe potentially second best roster he had. On paper, maybe he thought that. But certainly they have not lived up to it. But the Tang firing, ridiculous. And then one other note from basketball. The
firing is not ridiculous. The firing is very much, it's the saying it for cause is ridiculous.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean. Sorry. And then the news from the NBA outside of the All-Star weekend was the retirement of Chris Paul. Chris Paul was released after the trade by the Clippers, and he has announced his retirement after 21 years. Obviously, he'll be at in the Naismith Hall of Fame. I don't know if it's a 5-year wait with professional basketball, but we know Chris Paul is headed to the Hall of Fame. Is he headed to the broadcast booth, though? Is Chris Paul going to become this broadcaster? He's always been a guy who's been very outgoing with his comments. If he's that type of guy on a broadcast behind a microphone, I'll take it any day of the week. I want to hear those guys that are willing to speak up for things they think are wrong or things they think are right. I love vocal guys like that, so maybe Chris Paul will fit that mode.
I would assume that he'll end up if he wants to do it. He'll certainly have an opportunity to do that if he wants to do it, and I would think that would be a thing. And I still wouldn't put it past if something happens to some team down the stretch, an injury or something, that he still comes back this year and tries to play a little bit. But right now, apparently, nobody wants him, so he decided to go the retirement route. Fleet Feet, the place to go to get all your running gear. If you are out there running, walking, exercise really of any kind, or maybe just on your feet a lot every day, you want to make sure you have shoes that are perfect for you. And that's exactly what they'll do for you at Fleet Feet. They take a look at the way you run, the way you walk, and they fit you with shoes that are right for you. Plus all the other gear that you need, they've got you taken care of. Even advice or anything like that, when it comes to running, training for races, any of that, they can help you at Fleet Feet. And they've got 2 locations to take care of you. Laurelwood Shopping Center in East Memphis, out in Collierville, Poplar and Houston Levy, next door to the Hueys. They'll take care of you at either one of the 2 locations. You can also find them online, fleetfeetmemphis.com, or on social media, where they keep you up to date with everything going on in the running community, including their group runs and other things that you can get involved with the folks at Fleet Feet.
It's another season with our Memphis Tiger baseball segment. Matt Reiser joins us next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Did you miss your favorite Sports 56 show? No! Check out the podcast, broken down hourly at sports56whbq.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe. Never miss any Sports 56 show again with our podcasts available daily from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
To NST, it's never just another case. It's your shot at getting life back on track. Real help, real heart. 35 years and still winning. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go online at nstlaw.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It remains pretty busy over here coming down I-40, especially in the westbound lanes of I-40 here at Germantown Parkway, all the way down Sycamore View Road. Some of that traffic already a little bit heavy at times coming off the interstate there onto Sam Cooper, working your way inbound up through Midtown right now. Pretty heavy at times on 240 North here all the way up to Union. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry is your headquarters this year for bridal season. Stop by and see them this week and shop local. You'll save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:04 the time. Final hour for us today on this President's Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Still got some dense fog out there, but before too long, the sun will be shining this afternoon, looking at a high temperature of 63 degrees, currently at 46 degrees. And then even a little warmer tomorrow with a high projected to be about 68. We'll see sunshine and clouds. 70 Wednesday, 77 Thursday. And then it gets a little cooler for the weekend, just in time for the Memphis Tigers to host the Grind City Classic. Yes, baseball is underway. The Tigers win their first series of the season as they knocked off visiting Toledo 2-1 over the weekend. And we are very happy to be back with Coach Matt Reiser for another year of the Tiger Baseball Report.
It's time to talk University of Memphis baseball with Tigers head coach Matt Reiser. Brought to you by Landers Nissan and Landers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in South Haven. If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much. Here's Coach Reiser with Greg and Eli.
He is the head coach of the Memphis Tigers. He is Matt Reiser, joins us in studio. Back for another year, Coach. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Greg. I appreciate you guys, as always, having me on. Eli, great to see you as well, my friend. And hard to believe it, but it is right here. And we're into another baseball season. You know what I mean?
Weather could have been worse. It could have been a couple of weeks ago when you started the season. Would have had snow and ice and would not have been able to play. Obviously, with that turf, you're able to play through rain, and we had the rain on Sunday. But after a little bit of a shaky start in the opener on Friday against a very good Toledo team, You came back strong, won the walk-off game on Saturday, and then dominated on Sunday to win the series, and that's the way you want to open up a season.
Yeah, 100%. We've done a good job in this schedule, and we kind of talked about it a little bit, Greg, in the preseason that, we scheduled a bunch of good opponents. If we play good baseball, we're going to win. If we play bad baseball, we're going to lose, and that's exactly what happened. We kind of came out the chute there on Friday, didn't have our best. And Saturday, probably the same thing. Sunday looked like more of a complete game for us. Had the hitting, had the base running aspect of it, pitch, played good defense there at the end. So, overall, I thought we really grew through the weekend, and we got to be careful with these Maction teams, right? They've got some good clubs up there, and Coach Rob has done a fantastic job with that club, and they'll be banging on the door for a championship. I think the last Maction team we played was Bowling Green. I think they started out 18-0 in conference play. So it wouldn't surprise me if Toledo kind of does the same thing, because that was some really good starting pitching for them, and just a complete offense.
With the snow and ice we had, basically the 2 weeks leading up to the season, seemingly the ground was covered with snow and ice. How much did that affect your preparation for the season compared to normal?
You never want to make excuses, right? But you also want to peel back the layers of why maybe we got out to the shaky start there in the first couple of games. And maybe we are. Maybe we're a week and a half behind of some things that you want to be able to get outdoors and the base run aspect of it. We kind of made a little driveway, so to speak, between the mound and the plate to see some live babies. So the base run's a little shaky there. Also, we dropped some balls in left field. That was on me. We just, with James and also getting him back, we're excited about having him back. You see him in the lineup, and we're all excited to have him back. But he just didn't get a whole lot of preseason action out in the outfield, and maybe that took away a little bit. Got to being able to move to the left, and that just got enough time to be over there. There is a little transition. I played the outfield. I played center field. I had to move to the corners left and right. It is a different ballpark and obviously a different setup. So sometimes at twilight, like what happened on Friday, we lose a few balls in the sky.
Right.
So, and just not being used to being able to get outdoors to do that. You do a lot of that in the preseason, being able to inter squad and sometimes go at night. If we would have gone at night 2 weeks before that, it would have been 9 degrees and then had 9 inches of snow on the ground. So we couldn't do that part of it. So maybe, that's a little bit of it, but I never want to make excuses, right? I thought it did give us some opportunities to kind of get back into the groove of things as the weekend went along.
All right, so let's talk about this roster. You just alluded to James Smith IV back after that gruesome injury from last year. Wasn't sure what was going to happen for the rest of his career. He was drafted. Even with that injury, the guy was still drafted. And I would assume that that's going to be the case, even higher level of draft pick this next offseason. But what does it mean to have James Smith IV back in that lineup? Of course, a guy who's a two-way player can also pitch for you and probably will.
Yeah, it's what we want, right? I mean, you see the athlete, and we talk about the talent and the abilities, but more important, it's the human being that we get. And so when you sit down and you have a conversation with James after the draft, and he gets his opportunity and gets his name called, there were some things on our side of the table that we had not presented yet that we were waiting to see how the draft would play out, see what the Mets would offer. We knew we couldn't fight with the Mets, right? The Mets have the unlimited
and owners
budget,
got some money,
right?
man.
They got a little bit of money. So hey, let's see what their offer is. Hey, man, we'll be able to counter that offer, and then they'll be able to counter after that, and we'll see how much they really want you. And so, when we countered, we were able to get into the conversation and have a consensus of, hey, man, we're coming back. Okay, great. And his reasoning behind it wasn't a financial deal, right? He didn't want to obviously bypass, 6 figures, right, and have nothing to go back to. But in the long term of things, he talks about a couple of things. One is like, Skip, I got half a year. Can you imagine if we get a full year, what's going to happen, Right. And so he's betting on himself. And then number 2 is he goes, Skip, man, we got off to a good start last year. And then when I went down, man, this whole thing kind of fell apart for us offensively. I know we got a really good club. I want to be a part of something special at Memphis that builds Memphis. I love Memphis. He's a local product who loves the University of Memphis and loves the city. He goes, I think we can do some great things if I come back. And so now he's betting on the staff and his teammates too. So to hear that conversation, also we talked about the talent. And you see the abilities, right? You see him moving around. Look like the gazelle out in center field, and obviously the power he's got, the whole package that he's got. But the human being component of it, man, I think it's just as important as all of it.
That's guys you like to have selling your program, right?
Well, 100%. Well, that sells your culture, right?
Yeah.
We can sit here and talk about culture as much as we want and the C word all we want, but what are we fulfilling it with? Well, hey, man, here's a lot of words. Nope. Here's the actual action of it, right? And so you see a guy like him, you see a guy like Seth Garner, who had an opportunity as well to go to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Both those guys turn down opportunities to come back. That shows you what the culture actually looks like.
What did Saturday's game kind of tell you? Because obviously, second game of the year, you're coming off of a loss, so you don't want to immediately lose that first series. You get the early lead, but then you're trailing going to the bottom of the ninth, you score. Then you give up a run, you're trailing bottom of the 10th, and then you score 2 runs to win the game. So just a game like that, to have that second game of the year, what does that kind of tell you? What do you find out about your team?
Well, first it told me that I'm a little rusty on my coaching aspect of it because we should have won that in the bottom of the ninth and didn't, and had the base running blunder there, so which I take full responsibility for because I should have communicated that better, right? We took the offensive timeout and I didn't communicate it well enough. So, but no, I think it showed what we need, right? I mean, we've talked about we're going to be able to hit, we're going to be able to pitch, we're going to be able to play defense. We know those components are there for us. We've done it for the last 8 to 9 months. We have the ability, we have talent, we have athleticism, we've got competitiveness, and I think that's what showed in the resilience of our team. We were down 8-1 on Friday, come all the way back, one swing away from winning the ball game, obviously to the back and forth. Could have easily hung our head, right? I mean, in that situation, we got first, second, nobody out. It looks like the Tigers are ready walking off the bottom ninth, and all of a sudden that happens, and then they score on top of that, on the top of the 10th. We just don't go away, and I think that's resilience. Is when we sit here and talk about the end of the season, when the pitching is doing what they're supposed to be doing, the hitting is supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing, the defense is doing what they're supposed to be doing. That hey, at the end of the season, that's the resilience that's going to end up having us talking about championships at the end instead of being in 8th or 9th place and fighting to get in the tournament.
You're a coach that likes to have a running team. 10 for 10 stolen bases over the weekend. Out of the three classes that you've had here at Memphis, is this the one that will run the most?
Yeah, and don't get it wrong, Greg. I like to hit home runs too now. So when the wind blows in at 20 miles an hour, what are we going to do?
Right.
Yeah, we need to run. So what you saw Friday and Saturday probably didn't run as much. Probably need to run a little bit more and put a little bit more pressure on them to open it up. Maybe we were putting too much pressure on the guys at the plate to just, hey man, we can get a hold of one. It can go a little bit. Obviously Sunday we knew. I mean, Shane Cox hit the ball to left field. I'm telling you, would have landed at the apartments and landed halfway out in left field with the wind blowing and how hard it was. So we had to create that, and so we obviously did that there on Sunday with 7 stolen bases. 7 or 10 came on Sunday with the elements that were there. So I do believe that, Greg, that we have a team that's athletic enough, and especially once they really soak up the base running aspect of it, we got to kind of get some of these kinks out, and maybe that's some of the preseason stuff that we missed on that you alluded to there, Eli, is the fact that, hey, man, we've got to get our steps down, know what our reads are, know what our looks are, because there was a lot more bags and opportunities I think we could have had over the weekend that we should have cashed in on.
If they could steal bases on that ice, though, then they could steal bases on anything.
I mean, it's Winter Olympics, right? I'm sitting watching some ice skaters, you know.
Problem is you're going to slide right by the bag, man.
You don't even have to run. You just head first slide to take off and go.
To your point, we were doing that yesterday. We were sliding, hooking bags, hanging bags. That turf gets wet. It slides.
You mentioned some of the guys returning. Who are some of the new faces on this team that people need to know about?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm going to start with Michael Gupton. I mean, that's the one that everybody's been talking about because of the year that he had last year, and then also you see him Friday night. Like, Coach, man, what's the deal? Hey, man, he's a superb young man. Like, let me just tell you, like, the competitor and who he is and what he is and just what he embodies. You saw Friday night didn't end the weekend, right, for him. He comes back. He has a good day for Saturday. Has a good day yesterday, a couple of hits, runs the bases, take a couple stolen bases, makes a play in center field, right? I mean, a lot of guys would hang their head, but that's the veteran that he is, man. He's always kind of had some people say, hey, man, you got all those tools, these talent, but you'll never do it. You'll never do it. And so, obviously, he proved a lot of people wrong last year. And you saw if you haven't seen, Eli, I advise you to go see the video of him poking the bear last year when they played Mercer. When you poke the bear, he wakes up. And so I think that was what a little bit he poked himself there on Friday night going, hey, man, I didn't play as up to my standards. And so he's just a resilient young man who does what he does to be able to come back and do what he did the rest of the weekend.
For those who don't know, where did he come from?
He came from Sanford. Yeah. So, you know, he's had his journey. He's from Raleigh, North Carolina, went to North Carolina State out of high school, then went to junior college and went to Sanford, had a great year. So we were fortunate enough to pick him up out of the portal. Freddie Rodriguez at third base, super, super young man. Played at Coastal Carolina, right, the national runner-up last year. I saw the picture of that ring coming in. I mean, pretty impressive what they did there at Coastal. But to have his experience of making the run to Omaha and now to coming into our clubhouse and the teammate that he is. He's a really good player there at third base. Again, it was a little shaky Friday, Saturday, but when it meant the most to make the biggest play, he made a heck of a play there at third base in the ball game in a tight situation yesterday. So those two young men, fantastic to see. Local product, Carson Fair. Got to see him twice this weekend, right?
Win and save.
Got to win and a save, baby. Got the win on Saturday, the save on Sunday. Just, again, a chance to be another draft pick out of here, a local product. product that, man, just wanted to embody Memphis. When we recruited him out of Pearl River Community College, hey, Coach, Memphis has always been somewhere I've always wanted to be. And to be honest with you, I said, you know what? I saw you your freshman year pitching down at Pearl River. I was pissed off that we didn't have you already up here with us. So let's make sure we get you back up here. But those are a few of them. We got some other returners. We'll start Seth Empson tomorrow night, who's a junior college young man who will start for us, get his first start in the Tiger uniform as well.
A guy who's back is Shane Cox, and he is your leader.
Yeah, it's 100%, man. And when you talk about formulating good teams and good clubs, when your captain embodies what Shane Cox embodies, the grittiness, we've always kind of told him, hey, man, we're going to recruit over you when we first got here. You're just not there yet. Keep fighting, but we're going to continue to recruit over you. It just keeps elevating his game, man. And so obviously you saw in a lot of the tough situations, right, the so-called pressure situations, he loves those moments, man. I mean, that's what he is. Clutch Shane, that's what he does. And so he finds ways, whether it's pretty or gritty, it doesn't really matter. He finds a way to get the job done. And then the teammate he is, the captain he is, the relationship he has with the teammates inside of that locker room on every aspect of it. So not only does he talk it, but he walks it as well for us.
What do you, coming into this, what do you feel like is maybe the strengths of this team and the areas that you're kind of worried, like you want to see in action kind of coming into the year?
Yeah, I think for us, our strength is going to be our maturity, and we talked about that. Hey, man, Friday night was tough. We played poorly, tough loss, the whole deal. The pressure's on to win the rest of the weekend, like you alluded to earlier again, Eli. Hey, man, it's opening weekend. Really don't want to lose opening weekend, especially at home. God, good weather. Finally, people are trying to get outdoors, had good crowds. The maturity of the club, I think, is what's going to make us go, right, when it's all said and done. The ability to handle adversity, but handle the highs and the lows, right, and just kind of stay even keel and keep going consistently and competitively, I think will be our strength. The things that you look at from, I guess you could say, a concern standpoint, we've got to do a good job of staying selfless. And I say that in the fact of we got some really good players on the offensive side of the baseball. There's some guys like Jack Pitts, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, I like him. And you saw him, I pitched him a couple of times. You saw the other left-handed hitter, Brady McAbee. Both of those guys catch. And so then you see Trey Cassidy who's hitting our 2-hole and 3-hole. So we've got three guys who can kind of do it all a little bit, right? Hit a little bit, play a little bit of defense. And so we've got three men, kind of a three-headed monster there, so to speak. And so, those guys have just got to do a good job of buying into the role. And when a ready to roll comes, then, hey, man, go excel there too. So I think if we do a really good job of understanding that in that locker room, which I think we have a lot more like-minded said human beings in that locker room, I think we'll be in a really, really good shape. I don't know. So I don't want to really call it a concern, but that's something that kind of lays out as the season goes, right? Like you can only do it until you actually test it in the fire and you start actually seeing these guys. Everybody plays in the inter squads, right? Everybody plays in the preseason. But now when you get to this point, the guy who hasn't had a bat in about 2 weeks and all of a sudden gets the pinch hit or even gets the spot start, what does he do in that situation, right? Does he complain the whole time? Is he worried the whole time? Or has he just worked his tail off the entire time, been ready for that moment? I go back to Webb Watson, right? Probably should have started him on Friday night, redshirt freshman. He's been in left field the whole time. I'm trying to figure out how to get Jimmy back in as well. So this is what we want to do with the DH spot and Harrington being the DH. So, I mean, I went with that lineup. He didn't complain. He'd been the starter in left field the whole time since day one in fall ball.
When he had his opportunity.
He got in there,
right?
buddy, and that's it. And that's exactly it. And that's maybe the X factor for us, right, that we talk about, that if those guys handle the situation like that, we got a chance to be really, really good.
And all that. So do you feel like right now your lineup is set, or how many positions are there where you're kind of like, I got to see this?
Yeah, and I think that they all kind of complement each other, right, Eli? Like in the fact that like the one guy might be left-handed, one guy might be right-handed, one guy might. We talk about three-dimensional models of these pitchers, right? They can go up, down, they can go side to side, they can go front to back. Hey, man, a guy might cover the plate a little bit better, so this might be the starter that you get at second base. We've got some versatility. You saw Jack Little, Mark Little's son, come in all 3 games, right? He can play the infield at second base, but he can also play the outfield as well. So I don't think there's going to be like just a set line. There'll be a couple pieces, I believe, that should be set for the most part. I think Freddie being at third base will be pretty, set. But like Shane can move from first to second, and Ty Harrington can go over there. Michael Poldy can play short, but so can Javon, right? And then Javon can play second. So I think there's a lot of moving parts in this that, I don't think there's going to be like a set lineup for the entire year. I think it's going to be collectively as a whole. We're going to play the best matchups and obviously intervene in the situation. We get to the bullpen, hey, man, this guy goes and that guy goes. You'll probably see, 10, 11, 12 players per game coming off the bench.
Coach, a little bit on the pitching staff. You mentioned Garner back, Will Howe a starter this year in the rotation. Just a little bit on how solid you think this staff is.
Yeah, no, really excited about Howe. I mean, obviously he's done a good job of getting his body in shape and being ready, and had a great fall for us. And Garner was out the entire fall. He had some shoulder stuff going on, so we wanted to make sure we were very intelligent about that process. He's already proven himself, so we knew what he had. Howe got that opportunity this fall to do that and prove it. Did a really good job in his first outing, right? As he continues to grow and what he's doing and building that endurance, man, I'm really excited to see what he does. He's probably our top draft prospect when it's all said and done because of the age, right? He's a third-year guy, but he's going to graduate early. So, I mean, he's got a chance to really have some, I guess, leverage in the draft. He's got a couple years. He can sit there and have a conversation. He's got a chance to come back and get played for grad school. So he's going to have a lot of leverage in the draft. He's going to be a highly touted name when the draft comes around, I think, in June.
So you have Little Rock coming in tomorrow night, and then you've got this weekend. You mentioned the Grind City Classic with Louisiana Tech and Ohio State both coming for games with them. So what are you kind of looking for amongst these games this week?
Yeah, after the ball game last night, kind of started breaking down a few more for the week. We'd been working Little Rock for about a week now, but obviously the Ohio States and Louisiana Techs. And when I'm going through and scrolling through, I went, okay, well, Louisiana Tech went 4-0 on the weekend. Ohio State went 3-0 on the weekend, so that's 7-0. And then Little Rock went 2-1. So, okay, good. The teams we're playing this week were 9-1 on the week. Good. So this is the competition we asked for, and this is competition we shall get. So, no, just another good week of baseball. Again, I think we set this schedule up pretty simple. We play good baseball, we'll have success. If we don't, then obviously we'll have some failure. So I think the theme for us this week is, hey, man, do a good job of cleaning up what we need to get cleaned up. Let's make sure the fundamentals are there. That's kind of our Mondays, to be honest with you. In practice, we still practice on Mondays. We'll take Wednesday off so we can prep for the week a little bit, kind of go over some things. It's a little bit lighter, but a little bit more fundamental of skill work stuff that we will do. So we can get back to that aspect of it because I think we're real close to kind of breaking out offensively.
Mm-hmm.
We were much better yesterday in just our approach and our plan and what we were trying to get done and accomplished. And then fundamentally just defense, right, of getting some things done and base running wise as well. So I think Little Rock's going to have a good team. Obviously Louisiana Tech and Ohio State had good weekend, and I think they're both primed for big years just looking at the reports and what they're kind of forecasting for those two teams. So I think it'll be a great week of baseball, and it looks like we got summertime coming, baby. Got some 70s.
Hopefully.
I might get out there in a Speedo. Who knows?
No thanks, Coach.
Me either.
Before we wrap it up, only 3 games, but your pitcher of the week and your hitter of the week.
Yeah, I mean, the pitcher of the week, I really liked Carson Fair, being able to come back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, you don't try to do that in a weekend, but, Carson, he's built that way. That's why he's kind of wired.
Right. Especially early in the season.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly right. But that's what we've got to get those guys in, right? Especially being in that closer role, whatever it may be, relief role. When the game's on the line, got to get him in the game. So we did that this weekend. But I'm going to go to David Case. What a fantastic outing when we needed the most. Hey, man. Sunday rubber match. Starter went 3 1/3. Another one went 4 1/3 or 4 2/3, whatever it was. I mean, we needed a good quality start. He goes out there for 6 innings, 7 punch outs, only 2 runs. Just a really, really the outing we needed to win the series. He gave us. So my pitcher of the week is David Case. And then it's hard to argue with the captain, right? I mean, he had the big hit there. Obviously on Saturday to walk it off, but just a plenty of big moments, big hits. Got us going multiple different times, and so my hitter of the week would no doubt be Shane Cox.
It's the Tiger Baseball Report with Matt Reiser. It's brought to you by our friends at Landers Nissan. That's at 371 Goodman Road in South Haven, Mississippi. Go down there and visit Jeff Field, the former Memphis Tiger, and all the great staff at Landers Nissan. Coach, thank you for joining us. Looking forward to another great season with you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Jeff, thank you for your support as always.
Greg, not Jeff.
No, Jeff. Jeff Field. Jeff Field, thank you for your support.
Jeff, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm getting it. Jeff Field, thank you for your support as always, and sponsoring the show. And then also Greg and Eli, man, always to be able to chop it up and have a little bit of call for you guys. Truly appreciate it. So
thank
go
you,
Tigers,
Matt.
go.
Appreciate that. That's Matt Reiser, Tigers baseball coach. We'll take a timeout, come back with more. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Do you know what Penny Hardaway and I have in common? We should both be in that building celebrating the best basketball players of all time. Of course, I'll have to buy a ticket to get in, but he should already be there. But seriously, we both surround ourselves with the best people we can find. We work hard to achieve our goals, and we are both among the best in our respective fields. At Five Ash, we can't win titles or get national awards, but what we can and do strive to do is give 100% of ourselves to give you the best product possible and one you can be proud of. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call at 901-367-0050, and we will do everything we can to provide you the best of everything. Five Ash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Maria's Cantina in South Haven is not your average Tex-Mex joint because they're serving up Mexican with a twist. Maria's Scratch Kitchen is the most creative and diverse menu around. Beyond the traditional huge quesadillas, chimichangas, and fajitas, Maria serves up hand-rolled Latin egg rolls, Cajun and Creole items like catfish, gumbo, and boudin balls, as well as the best sandwiches and 8-ounce burgers in town. Wash it all down with a house margarita for only $5.50 and happy hour every day till 6. MariasCantina.com, 6717 Airways, Mexican with a twist.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-895-1414. That's 800-895-1414.
Air. We breathe it naturally. Simple, right? Not so fast. The air you breathe could be hazardous to your health. Don't guess. Be sure with a phone call to the Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold assessor in the Mid-South. Call the Memphis Mold Inspector to check the air quality inside your home and office. Protect babies, pets, new homes, old homes, employees, friends, loved ones, and you. Just call 901-292-7788 for clean air and peace of mind. 901-292-7788 for the Memphis Mold Inspector.
Join NFL and Ole Miss football legend Archie Manning for an evening of inspiring stories on leadership, perseverance, and greatness. Don't miss Archie Manning at the Heindel Center in Senatobia, Mississippi on Friday, February 20th. Tickets are on sale now at heindelcenter.org.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:27 is the time. Got the monitor on here, TV on in studio, watching curling. How much curling can there possibly be? Every time I look and whatever's on, it's curling. There's way too much curling. And there's controversy, Eli, with curling. Did you know that?
Yeah, there's accusations of cheating.
Yes. Who was it? Was it a Swedish guy who was accusing the Canadian?
Yes.
I mean, come on, man. Can't we all get along? It's curling, for goodness sakes.
I love watching the curling. I watched a ton of curling over the weekend. I am fascinated by curling.
I am for a few minutes, and then I'm like, okay, I get it. It's shuffleboard on ice. Crazy weekend in the Winter Olympic Games. Excuse me. Ilya Malinin falling not once, but twice, and finishing in his event, which was the free skate, finishing 8th. That was about as shocking as anything that's happened and probably will happen in this Olympiad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was, we talked about last week, after the short program, they were talking about him winning, like it was a foregone conclusion. Like, Scott Hamilton talked about him winning by like 60 or 70 points possibly. And for him to finish 8th is incredible. I was actually playing golf on Friday and I got the alert on my phone and I was like, what? It's like I literally couldn't believe it. I was like, this is truly unbelievable. They're like, this was a foregone conclusion. He was going to win the gold and he's finished 8th. I could not believe that was even possible.
Yeah, I knew it had happened, and then I sat down with my wife and she's getting ready to watch. And of course, I was a good husband. I didn't tell her what was going to happen. And then she goes, does he fall? Because she had been hearing things all day. Does she? I said, I don't know. I don't know if he falls. And then you have Michaela Schifrin finishing 11th in the giant slalom. I know she's won a bunch of times in the history of the Winter Olympic Games, but it seems like every time I watch her, she fails.
Well, yeah, the last couple Olympics. Now, she was not expected to win the giant slalom.
Her best event's still coming up.
Yeah, the regular slalom is the thing for her, but she had a serious crash in a giant slalom. So they talked about her just finishing 2 runs was good for her just mentally to be able to do that with what she went through. But no, I mean, for what she is, again, she's the best ever, people will say. But yeah, the last couple of Olympics especially have been massive disappointments. We'll see what she does in the slalom, but the Olympic pressure it's a real thing.
It's a real thing, right?
Again, you see with Hillian, the dude is dominant out there, and for whatever reason, here in the Olympics, it didn't happen for him. But
he said I choked.
It's a different beast for these people, and you don't know for sure, I guess, how you're going to react. And then he gets out there and you do that. And the problem is you get the one chance. And then now you're like, got to wait 4 years to see if I can respond to it the next time it happens. And he'll, I'm sure, dominate all of the events from now until the next Olympics. But then when the Olympics come around, can you put that behind you?
Exactly.
And forget everything else that's happened in your Olympic. That's like with Schifrin, I think now it completely is in her head about the Olympics, and her failure to perform at the Olympics, I think, probably affects her every time she does it now.
Yeah, and we talked about this on Friday, I think it was, about the Ukrainian who was not allowed to race because he had the pictures of those that had died. Not all of them, but some of them in the Ukrainian war. And I just feel, because again, all those years of prep and not even having a chance to do his event, as opposed to do his event and fail. But even for those that you had just talked about, it's just heartbreaking to know you've worked so hard and either you miss the podium by a fraction of a second or you fall.
Well, and that's the thing. Watching a lot of I watched a lot of speed skating, and that dude, the speed skater for the U.S. is unbelievable. That guy's awesome. That won the 1,000 and he won the 500. That dude's amazing. And
Jackson came up short for the women, and she was.
Yeah, again, and she wasn't. Those Netherlands girls are. The one who won it,
the Dutch baby,
she is unbelievably dominant right now in that event. Like, she wins easily. And then the other one, who is Jake Paul's fiance, who won the 1,000, she's like, those two
right.
those two are unbelievable.
Right.
Where but it's amazing watching, like, I watched the giant slalom, and you watch some of these speed skating events, and the bobsled. I watched a lot of bobsled and the skeleton and all that stuff.
I haven't even seen the bobsled yet.
And it's the fine line that you're talking about. Like, in that giant slalom, I want to say it was like 10th place was like 0.2 of a second out of first.
Jeez.
I mean, it is so tightly bunched together, and you're just like, I mean, you just think about what that fine line is. So you're coming down this massive hill in a slalom, and it's over a minute that comes down to literally hundreds of seconds deciding the podium or not. And you think about that. 4 years of preparation that comes down to 100th of a second and you don't medal, or 300th, because I wanted, like, it literally, well, the two girls tied for second. I think off the podium was only like, I don't even know, it was like 0.06 or something like that. You could have, anywhere in that hill that you could have made up 0.06 could have been gold. Instead, you're not even on the podium. Like, it's just, the fine lines of all this are absolutely amazing. Those bobsleds, you're flying down that track, banging against the wall and everything else, and it literally comes down to you lost by 0.09, and you're like, oh my gosh, how easy could it have been for us somewhere in there to make up 0.09?
Well, you talked about the fractions of a second, the difference between winning and finishing 10th. The same could be said about NASCAR at the super speedways, and in particular the Daytona 500, because that's exactly what happened. I was watching that race, and they're coming down to the final laps, and there were still like 27, 28 cars on the lead lap. From the first place car to that car that was like 27th or 28th was a second or a fraction of a second. And they're all bunched up because they have the restrictor plates. So they're all at the same speed. One person gets out of line, one makes a mistake, and you get the crash. And on the final lap, of course, there's the cars crashing, and then some of them just kind of rolling into the finish line and finishing wherever they did. But Tyler Reddick was the one who was able to avoid the crash. He gets the win. It's the only lap he led the entire race, but it's the most important lap. He wins it for Michael Jordan. Yes, that Michael Jordan, team owner. He owns actually 4 different teams, 4 different cars he had in the 500, and Tyler Reddick wins it for Air Jordan. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., by the way, the Olive Branch product who has won the Daytona 500 in the past, finished second. So great finish at the Daytona 500, but we're going to continue to have those crashes. We had crashes throughout the race, but that crash at the very end always seems to be a part of the 500 over the last 4 or 5 years. From the world of golf, oh my gosh, what a story on the LIV Tour. Anthony Kim winning the tournament at Adelaide in Australia. He had retired. He was a member of the PGA Tour. He had retired, and then last year came back and played for the LIV. Didn't play well and didn't keep his membership or whatever it is, and had to go through basically their version of a Q school to get back for this year. It had been 12 and a half years since he last won. He was out because of personal demons, injuries. Anthony Kim yesterday with Bryce DeChambeau and John Rahm. They were the 3 in the lead, or basically the top 3 guys going into the final round, and he smoked them both. And Anthony Kim wins. I know there's a lot of people who couldn't care less about LIV. It is a great, great humanitarian story.
Anytime you see somebody overcome the demons that he's overcome with alcohol and other drugs and things, he talked about his sobriety and everything else. I mean, there's nobody in the world that ever thought Anthony Kim would be winning any event ever again. And including him, I'm sure. I mean, I went through some low times where he probably didn't know he would survive to even be playing golf again. So to see him having gotten his life back in order, and then to see a result like that, that's great for him to be able to get to that point again.
Colin Morikawa, who hadn't won in a while on the PGA Tour, wins at Pebble Beach in that treacherous wind. Scotty Scheffler, though, for another, I guess the second straight tournament where he had a average to below average first round and then had 3 great rounds, was right there, eagling 18. Had 3 eagles yesterday in his round. Never had done that before. And what did he end up finishing? Tied for 3rd? Tied for 4th?
It was, I can't remember. I don't know.
Straka and...
I think it was tied for 3rd. I don't remember for sure. But
Minwoo Lee, I
the
think.
shot he hit on 18 was incredible.
Oh, my gosh.
Absolutely amazing to hit it to 3 feet for eagle, knowing he had to have eagle to give himself any chance. And I give Kyle Morikawa a ton of credit.
Me too.
Because Jacob Bridgman in front of him had a train wreck on 18. Kyle Morikawa sat in the fairway for 22 minutes waiting to hit his second shot into 18. It could, with all of thinking about what you've got to do and what's on the line and everything else, to be able to still make the birdie that he made after having to wait forever, very, very impressive.
Yeah, it was bad enough on Saturday. I think it was Minwoo Lee on 18. I think that's his name, right? Minwoo Lee. His ball kept oscillating. He wouldn't putt it. And it was Fowler and a couple, I forget who else was in that Fowler group. They were waiting forever. It had to be more than 22 minutes. And Jim Nantz was talking about, I thought we were going to have a lot of time to have to kill here on the broadcast, but we're up against the clock now. And but then on Sunday, as you said, it's the final round. And Morikawa is trying to win for the first time since, 2022, and to be able to make that birdie, just huge. So I'm happy for Morikawa as well. One college baseball note, aside from what we talked about with Coach about the Tigers. Baylor's, and I wanted to ask him this, I forgot. Baylor's Tyce Armstrong, Tyce, Tyce Armstrong, hit 3 grand slams in one game versus New Mexico State. I did not stutter. 3 grand slams in one game. Now, as I was telling you before the show started today, the Fernando Tatis 2 grand slams in one inning in Major League Baseball still blows my mind that happened. But this was 3 grand slams in one game. The fact that they even pitched to him the third time around, I would have walked him even with the bases loaded. It's kind of like a Barry Bonds thing. He hits 3 grand slams in one game.
But wasn't the first to do it.
Right. He tied a record.
It's been done before. So but that's a hell of a way to start a season. Game 1 of the year.
You can only go downhill, right?
Through one game, you've got 3 home runs and 12 RBIs. That's a hell of a start to your year.
What is your slugging percentage? My gosh.
You are on pace for a whole bunch of RBIs. I know that much, and a whole bunch of home runs at that time. But that is a hell of a way for it to come out of the gates for your first game of the season. Mark texted in. He said, "Is the quad skating guy losing like a number 1
quad
suit
god
losing in the first round of March Madness?"
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
yes.
They would be a massive favorite. He was a massive favorite. But again, I mean, he had already, the first half of it would actually because he had already done the short program and was good, it'd kind of be like that number 1 seed having a lead at halftime.
Right.
Like a big lead at halftime and blowing it in the second half. Like you literally wouldn't be able to believe that it was going to happen because you've already seen part of it and you go, no, yeah, he's good, and then loses it in the second half of that game.
Yeah, that's right. I want to talk a little SEC basketball, and then in our final segment, Drew Hill, who covers the Grizzlies for the Daily Memphian, friend of the show, has written about Penny Hardaway and the Tigers basketball program. Pretty interesting what he said. Something that we talked about earlier in the show. We'll do that in our last segment. But from the SEC over the weekend, Ole Miss loses its 7th straight, beaten by rival Mississippi State 90-78. Wow, it has come unglued for the Rebels.
Yeah, they can't stop anybody right now defensively. It's been weird. Like Malik Dia didn't play much at all. The last game he came back, he had 32. He was incredible, but other than him and AJ Storr, like nobody did anything for them. Defensively, they have been an absolute mess. They've been giving up some of these big halves, and they give up 90 in that game. They are really, really struggling.
Vandy got a nice win over Texas A&M by 13 at home. Florida just continues to roll over teams. They beat Kentucky, who's been playing well, by 9. You got to think right now Florida's the team to beat in the SEC.
Oh, there's no doubt. They're one of the teams to beat nationally. I mean, they are a legitimate contender to make it back-to-back. They're getting in that front line. Almost all three of them almost had a double-double. Hawk ended up with 8 rebounds, but the other 2 had double-doubles. And then Xavier Lee had a big game there. The kid off the bench, Klavchar, was unbelievable. And when he's shooting the basketball the way he's been shooting it, Boogie Flan doesn't have to do a whole lot other than distribute and play defense, and he's kind of bought into that. I mean, they're playing great right now.
Yeah, you talked about the importance of Lee and Flan, but Lee, stepping up like he did, that was extremely important. Oklahoma beat Georgia 94-78. Georgia is fading and fading fast. Also fading a bit is Auburn. Arkansas beating them 88-75. The reason I brought up that question about Florida is because I think Arkansas has a great chance when it's all said and done to win the SEC title. They are playing some great basketball.
Darius Acuff, man, every game now.
Put him on the Grizzlies.
He is
please.
He is making it look really easy on a nightly basis, knocking down threes, scoring anywhere he wants to score, distributing. Like he is. Some of the guys, some of the bigger names didn't have great games this weekend. He certainly one that did. He was incredible. Some of the others were incredible. Man, he's on a run right now where it is he literally just makes it truly look easy.
Love watching him play. Bama beat South Carolina 89-75. Tennessee over LSU by 10, 73-63. And it was Texas going into Columbia, Missouri, not only winning by 17. Texas has played well after some struggles earlier in the season. They went 85-68. Not a lot nationally, although BYU lost a important player for the season, they could be in a lot of trouble. Darren Peterson played for Kansas in a loss, didn't play that well.
No, he's one of them that did not. And DeBonsa didn't shoot the ball well. He still ended up with 20 points and 13 rebounds, I think it was, but he was 6 of 20 from the field. But yes, the loss of Richie Saunders, that's not a BYU obviously has DeBonsa and he's great, but they have not been great. Like where they've played good teams, they've lost generally to those teams.
Right, because they need more than DeBonsa.
Now without Saunders, one of the three-headed monster, because even Wright had 39 in that game the other day, and they still barely were able to hold on to beat Colorado in that one. Now without Saunders, yeah, that's a team that it's going to be tough. With they still got two really good players, and obviously DeBonsa's a great player, but Saunders has been fantastic for them and really adds a lot of shooting. And without him the rest of the way, that will be difficult.
Speaking of shooting, you can become a better shooter and a better all-around basketball player by taking your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis, a revolutionary basketball training facility. It combines cutting-edge technology with gamification, and it provides instant objective feedback with the analytics that you get, but also the one-on-one expert coaching that they provide for you with coaches from every single level, guys that have coached in college and in the NBA. They have a beautiful facility in Cordova, 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-sized courts, 3 high school-sized courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Also, the original in Collierville still around with the Shoot 360 technology as well. You can become a member at both or one of the other locations and can do so on a monthly basis. Yes, you can become a member at both locations and do so on a monthly basis. So my suggestion is you call them or stop by, ask for a tour, sign up for a month, go from there. Of course, you could sign up for longer if you like. In Collierville, 901-316-5500. They're located at 85 Market Street in Cordova. Big Orange Road, that's 901-779-3176. Become a better shooter, a better all-around basketball player. Take your skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. The future of basketball training is here.
A couple of other things on the college basketball. Tonight, you've got Iowa State hosting Houston, and we just saw Iowa State destroy Kansas at home. Hilton Magic in full effect. So they get Houston tonight. So this could be a hell of a 3-day stretch for Iowa State if they're able to beat Kansas and Houston back to back. Tomorrow night is Michigan-Purdue. And Purdue looks like they're kind of getting things together and figuring out a little bit from what they were supposed to be to start the year. So that's a huge one tomorrow night. And BYU, by the way, their first game without Richie Saunders. Arizona, who's going to be really angry after losing 2 games this week. So good luck to them
Yes.
in that being your first game to play without Richie Saunders.
I told you about Arizona, man. They're going to be weird because they always are. All right, when we come back, more on Tigers basketball. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day
at Sports 56 WHBQ.
It's a new year, and it's the first new sale at Family Leisure. It's the floor model sale happening now. Family Leisure has deep, like diving deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, even those cold plunges. How deep are these discounts? I'm not allowed to say. So if you've been putting off getting a new spa, then right now is the best time to buy. Here's one price I can let loose. You can get a spa as low as $99 a month. Plus, you can get over $1,000 in upgrades with every spa purchased. One other special deal, you can get an $8,000 spa for only $159 a month. And you know what? Family Leisure is going to throw in some LED lights and waterfalls on most models. Room's got to be made, and so do the deals at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
When life crashes into you, literally, NST Law doesn't just show up with a briefcase. They show up with heart. They sit with families after devastating wrecks, look them in the eye, and say, "We've got you." No scripts, no legal jargon, just real people fighting for real justice. If someone turned your life upside down, NST helps you stand back up. They've been doing this for over 35 years and have won billions for their clients. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go to nstlaw.com.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? And if you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning! On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
One other thing on college basketball the weekend, the one kid for Providence should be done for the year. That dude is, first of all, the hair should go, is a 5-game suspension in itself. That disqualifies you for 5 games, and then the behavior the rest of the season. Well, he gets the one automatic, and they gave him 2. So that's all they gave him. It should be the rest of the year. Like, the idea that you're like over there, like urging the crowd on and everything after you do what you just did.
Clothesline a guy.
That dude, and then the other guy, like, it's, I mean, completely inexcusable as well to just shove a dude who's getting ready to go up for a playoff. What an embarrassment for Providence. And for that, like, just to continue to be an embarrassment, like, not at any point realize you're the idiot in the room.
Right.
And just like that stuff, that's what drives me crazy. That guy, he should have been done for the year.
Coming against St. John's and Rick Pitino, who, of course, was a coach at Providence. So Drew Hill, friend of the show, and I haven't had a chance to read the story, but I brought it up earlier. And while we had the discussion for about an hour and a half on the Tigers, and thank you, folks. Your response has been fantastic with your texts and calls. We couldn't even get to everybody. It was great. His story is, it's time for Memphis basketball to do the right thing. It's time to hire Penny Hardaway some help. It's time for them to hire a GM and hand over some control of the Memphis basketball program. That was what I was alluding to earlier. A general manager whose job is personnel. His job is to evaluate all the talent that's out there, high school-wise, junior college, around the college landscape because of the portal, and internationally as well. You're not going to have these international scouts and this and that. This is not the NBA. But yes, a general manager who is helping, assisting, and putting things together for Coach Hardaway to make the final call on. This is, when I read that, I read it exactly the way I wanted to, because I thought maybe you would think what I thought at the beginning when I read the first line. It's time for Memphis basketball to do the right thing. If you're hearing that for the first time, you probably thought I was going to say, according to Drew, fire the coach. Not the case. He's not getting fired, shouldn't be fired, but something has to be done. You can't accept mediocrity.
But that's not the University of Memphis. That's up to Penny. Penny's got to be willing to do that.
But that is something I think that's when your athletics director, your associate AD, Tim Duncan, along with Dr. Scott, that's when you sit down with Coach Hardaway and go, look, where are we going with this thing? We back you. We support you. But the track record hasn't been great. Obviously, this year has been a disappointment. To this point, there's still time to go. But let's look at the future and evaluation of talent. You can't get the guys you used to be able to get just because you could throw out your name. People wanted to play. Players wanted to play for Coach Penny Hardaway. And if, of course, they're so young, they don't even remember Penny Hardaway, but their parents remember Penny Hardaway and grandparents and people in their inner circle. And they would tend to maybe even steer them in the direction of Memphis, because who wouldn't want to play for Coach Hardaway? Especially he is a player's coach. He doesn't rip apart these guys, and maybe he should. But that's not, we talked about that earlier. That's not his style.
And we've also talked about the staff. Well, how many times are you going to change up the staff? People keep they're texting me, change the staff, change the staff has been changed a million different times. But to have a general manager who is evaluating it all is the right way to go. I agree. I haven't even read this story yet from Drew. But you're right. It's still Penny deciding, because Penny has already made the comment, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, he needed more control. It lights the fire under him. That's why he's taken over the defense. He already runs the offense. So what are the assistant coaches doing? But I think a general manager's different, because we're not talking about X's and O's, game plan, and scouting of other teams. We're talking about talent, looking at the overall talent for the future when this season is over, getting right to work. Now, you can only do what you can do money-wise. You're limited. But in the conference, you certainly have the best opportunity to bring in the top talent. So what do you think?
Yeah, again, I have no problem doing that if Penny's willing to do that and turn over that, but I don't know that Penny's willing to do that.
Yeah, but aren't we at a point where you have to tell him you got to do it, not do you want to do it?
But you can't, if he doesn't want the GM there, that you can't just hire the GM and say, Penny, dude, you got to do this. He's not going to listen. He's not going to listen to. If he's not, you're putting together the roster. What's the guy going to say? I don't care what you say, Penny. This guy's on your roster. You're signing him.
No.
So you can't. The GM has to work with the coach. The coach has to be willing to work with the GM.
Yes, but you say you have to work with this general manager. General manager's not going to be the end-all, be-all to decide on what players are that you sign, but he's going to give you a map of here's what we're looking at, here's what we're looking at, what do you think? Boom, here's what we can get. And it takes a little bit of the pressure off of Penny, because, again, it was maybe a little bit of a panic this year after not being able to bring back P.J. Haggerty. That is going to do it for us today. I want to thank Matt Reiser for joining us. He'll be with us every Monday during the Tiger baseball season. Tomorrow we're back starting bright and early at 7 a.m. Among our guests, we'll talk with Blake Topmeyer. We talk to him every other week. And we got Humdinger's Trivia also on tap for tomorrow. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. I'll be interested to hear Dave talk about the trip to Denton and on to Logan and the 2 losses for the Tigers. He'll be on in just a few moments. For Eli Savoy, for Jay Ham, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great Monday, everybody.